Thank you all for coming with you. Right in the corner of it. My pledge of allegiance to the flag.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Being here, welcome to our budget meeting. Motion to adopt the budget agenda.
Yes, I will definitely adopt it tonight.
Second by Val, all in favor?
Um,
Any opposed? Motion carries. Budget discussion.
Okay, so as we, the board requested, fire department is here to discuss their budget proposal. The library is here to discuss their budget proposal, and the Poultney Rescue Squad, I think I told them to come at 5:30.
Oh, okay.
Who wants to go first?
Thank you all for coming.
We have all time of night, or
No,
they were here first, though.
they were here first, yeah.
You told us 5:32, but we came early.
Oh, okay.
All right, early bird gets to go first. All right. Library, go ahead.
I think I gave you the, didn't I?
Yeah, last. Yeah.
Fun facts about the library. And I think
There you go, Mark.
Dan.
There's coffee bean on it. Just make a copy of budget. We should wait for the
Yeah, we'll wait until the
joins.
Most of us got it last week. The same we got last week, right?
Yeah, give you some copy.
Okay.
What is this?
Waiting for you.
Oh, thanks.
All right. So Rebecca.
Williams, I'm Chair of the Board of Library Trustees. Give a little list of notes prepared for tonight's meeting. All four staff salaries have increased 3%. Of the 2.8% cost of living increase plus a 0.2% raise. Social Security and retirement budget lines were adjusted accordingly. Bookkeeping, Nisha requested an increase last year as the position has been level funded since she had been hired. The board did a partial increase in 2025-26. The budget reflects the second part of the increase. The health insurance, the number for that, which is a big increase, was supplied by the town manager. Since then, I have received my increase in health insurance, which has been at 8.65%, which would make that number quite a bit lower, possibly. Library materials, things have just gone up, as we all well know. We increased that line to $500 to help offset inflation. The telephone, the end of the Vermont Fiber Connect program caused a large increase in our internet bill. The Department of Libraries provided grant funding, which is currently being used to supplement the budget line so we can do the necessary budget steps and increases over the next few years. Electricity and postage, both those went over our budget lines, so we increased them a little bit to cover. And, we did decrease our annual equipment maintenance fee as we ended our copier lease and purchased our own copier.
chance to look it over.
Wait till this year.
Doesn't sound like anything very exciting for increase.
What, pardon?
Doesn't sound like anything very exciting for increase, is not adding any programs or.
You know, and, you know, there's a feasibility. Right now, we're operating a couple programs on grants. So if those grants go away in the next few years, we could be coming to you for, a substantial increase to keep those programs going. But at this point, we're lucky, and Rebecca works on grants continuously. She's got some in the fire right now, so.
Right now, our grant funded programming is about $8,500 to $9,000 a year, which is why our programming budget's only $1,300.
What does that cover? Like, what do you do with those grants?
Summer reading program, book discussion, public performances, speakers, plays, musicians, supplies for play groups and things like that.
Retreats.
Hamster treats are separate funding.
Okay.
We did do a GoFundMe for hamster testicular repair because we had an injury. So that also is not in our budget.
Yeah.
Like to see a line for that next year.
And how did you, this 345,000 number, how do you, like, seems tedious to add? Do you have a system that automates that, like to add that up to come up with that number for how much borrowers?
Yeah, we have our system where we check out books. If you check out materials, it'll tell you at the bottom of your slip how much you saved that day and how much you've saved year to date. And then we can run stats. We can look and see what patron saved the most money using the library. We can see who checked out the most materials.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Is that like just a software program that's library specific or?
Yep. Yeah, it's a company called Biblionics. It's Apollo software, and yet it's got our catalog. It's got all of our online services. It tracks our circulation and everything.
Cool. So that's like if people had bought the items, so much.
Yeah, and that's if they bought it at our library prices.
Mm.
If they went to Phoenix Books and bought them, it'd actually be a lot more than that.
Ask a question. Lost your book supplier this year. I mean, last year.
Mhm.
So have you found any difference in the cost of books with your new supplier?
For a while, we were just doing stopgap measures to do whatever we could to get books, and we're paying significantly more. I finally got 2 different new suppliers set up, and prices are back in line where they should be. So that should be, hopefully we're in recovery mode now.
How's your staffing level? Seem like it's at a good level now, or?
It's a good level that we try to have 2 people on board at all times, just because of, you know, the space and things, so.
In safety, we have a lot of safety issues in the library from time to time.
Safety from the public.
Safety from the public. Drug use, drug dealing, breaking up fights, things like that. You know, you're just what you really think of when you think library. But yeah.
Dang.
Well, you wouldn't think the town manager and his staff would get physically threatened on a regular basis, but we do.
I'm on Facebook, so yeah, I would think that. And it's unfortunate. It shouldn't happen.
How's the new, the new petition for, not secrecy for quietness? How's that working out?
That's working out really well. Got a lot of use this summer. All the folks that come up in vacation at the lake thinking they're gonna do a couple of remote work days on Lake St. Catherine and then realize there's no connectivity of any kind, came into the library. We had a lot of people working and having meetings in there. It's been great. We've also found a surprise second use that we hadn't anticipated. But the special education program from the high school comes down once a week, 20, 30 people at a time. And we found that if some of the students with autism who get sensory overload are having issues, they can go into there for a quiet space, and it works great for that too.
So most of this, the budget increase is just salaries, right? It's just the, like you mentioned, the cost of living increase and really nothing else.
Insurance is the single biggest one, yeah.
See you. Full time.
One full-time, three part-time. We're not,
Okay, so the assist, the 38,000 part time.
Yeah. they're maxed out at the top of what we can have for part-time.
Like in hours of pay.
In hours,
Because once you guys get this total, you divvy it out as a board. Is that how it works? So you would like,
Well, we
that gives it
we get a spreadsheet and we look at everything and then, that's always a process every 1st of December to look at the budget and, decide what we're gonna do the best we can. I know last year our budget wasn't questioned, which was the first time we were asked to reduce it 3 years in a row. And there wasn't a whole lot of fat in there to reduce anywhere. By the same token, the board said that at some point, maybe they could help us increase it somehow. So
was it prior to 2024 that it decreased? My paper says it goes up every year.
well, it has gone up every year.
Yeah,
But it hasn't been it's just been basically COLA.
But
And then nobody's gotten a real raise or anything other than minimum wage. We're paying less than minimum wage. And to keep on track of minimum wage, everything increased.
For the clerks and whatnot.
yeah.
Okay.
And Bruce, I know I've asked this question before, about how does Poultney Library compare to other surrounding local libraries, Castleton and other places compared to?
Castleton relies a little bit on, funding. I'm not exactly sure how they do it, but, their librarian works few hours based on a comparable salary. I did a research on the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, and we fall within communities,
Like population size.
population, yes.
Yeah, it's hard to dig up. Like we just got, or I just got this information 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, and I've been trying to research. Like it's hard to find online everybody's actual salaries, like because there was a lot on Google. Initially, it said like smaller towns like Linden, Chester, stuff like that were in the like $45,000 range, but then it didn't have the actual line item from the budget. And then when you go find that, so Google, just for anybody interested, is kind of just guessing, especially when it's the AI overview thing. Like you really got to dive into the line item sheets, which is kind of hard to find. You got to go to like individual town websites to get the actual numbers. But
If you go to Vermont Department of Libraries, it's a couple of years out of date at this point.
that's what I was looking.
Like once every 5 years, they hire somebody to do a salary study across the state, and then
Okay.
they break it down by number of staff and population and average income and all different kinds of ways.
Because at first, that's what I was reading, and I said, well, we're a little bit above the average, but then I saw the fine print and said 2021 data, and it's like, for better or for worse, it's nothing is what it costs in 2021. I believe the 2021 data on that website was like the average was 48,000 or something like that, and we're at 54 now, 55. So obviously, I'm just kind of looking over everything myself, seeing numbers for the.
Board members have any other questions for Bruce or Rebecca?
Library does a great job.
Library events.
Do you have anything, I guess, like exciting coming up? Like, do you have?
End of the month is our 4th annual craft supply swap. So for a week, we're going to have people from all over bringing in unwanted craft supplies. And Saturday, January 31st from 9 to 1, we give them all away for free to whoever comes in. Last year, we had 15, 16 tables full, plus another 40 bins on the floor, plus stuff piled under the tables. I wish we had a giant scale so we could weigh it all. That'd be cool. But in 4 hours, we had 174 people come in our little library and take it all away.
Cool.
So we've got that. We're gearing up for that right now.
It'd be cool. I'm sure like it's a me problem because I have two young kids and it's just like, yeah, because once I started looking over all this, I was like, I don't think I went there for Santa Claus reading or whatnot, but I was like, I don't think we utilize that as much as, but I don't know if that's just me missing out on young programs or whatnot. I'm sure you have stuff.
We're on break from it right now. We take a break January and early February just because the weather is dicey anyway. But the rest of the year on Mondays we have a story time every Monday, followed by a play group that we get like babies, toddlers, and preschoolers. And in the summer we have a ton of stuff. Definitely you should bring them in.
Yeah.
Have library cards, let them meet the animals. We're up to 6 animals in the library.
Neat.
Yeah, I think knee jerk for me, I guess last comment would be, it's just like anytime you see the town manager salary and the librarian salary are almost the same, I think that's not normal for, so obviously I looked it over and was just like,
My salary, 70% is in general government and 30% is in the highway department.
Okay.
So you gotta put
Okay.
those two numbers together.
Get your math.
Yeah.
Rebecca, how many hours would you say you put in on a normal week?
I
know that's crazy, but
this time of year, probably 45. During the summer, it's usually closer to 75. Summer, I kind of just move in. People that don't work in libraries are often surprised. That's our busy season. But summers are insane. We usually average 100 or more people a day coming in.
Anybody else have any questions? Well, thank you. I do like the book shelving and the different things that you've been putting up monthly. That's a great idea. Get people in the library. It's nice. Nice to see different things. So thank you both for coming and for sharing. As we get through this budget process, we'll take everything tonight into consideration. So we appreciate it.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you very much.
Are you ready?
I have with me, first chair, Captain Dave Johnson. With myself, Glenn. Next one would be Brandon Badusky. They both, moved up in rank over the, elections. Election stuff, last Tuesday. Down to discuss the budget stuff. Any questions that anyone had? I did, I'll look through it line by line. That first page is the proposed budget for next fiscal year, 26-27. First line, of course, is this current year's budget. First things on that one page, we did see decreases in our workman's comp and sickness and accident policy from the previous. So this is, both of those services are provided through the new insurance company that we moved to July 1 of this last year in this current fiscal year. So we did see decreases already there. Those are reflected in the administration line, a deduction of $800, which shows a 2% decrease overall for the administration lines. The only increases that stand out, or that will stand out to you, the equipment repairs, the equipment replacement, both those are showing like a 3% increase based on as everything's going up. The next one is the $4,500 increase in insurance premiums on all properties. So last year we had forecasted that we were not actually going to be able to start the new insurance company until January 1, because VLCT writes policies January 1, December 31st, January 1. So the caveat I had forecasted was there weren't going to be a full year under the new 100, the new insurance policy that has the premium showing that we're covering the trucks at what their replacement cost is, not just what they're valued at today if it was an accident. So we have a bigger increase this year because we are making up going all the way to the full cost of what that plan is, and that plan on the new numbers, like 20,000 and change. 20,500 is what I show on the paperwork. So there's a $4,500 increase on that. That's that coverage, that's covering our trucks, the trucks at their insured agreed value, so. Next big line down there is a new line. Last year, all summer long, winter long, we're struggling with our younger members, with their young families. Wives are working at night or trainings at night, and there was 2-3 members that I could give you their names right off and tell you that they would not be at drill Tuesday night because their wife had to go to classes or their wife had to work. So what we want to do with that $5,000 new line is get a program together for July 1 that we can start covering some childcare, whether it be in-house or some other functionality where we have a program with a hopefully a local childcare provider to pay for them to cover for those fathers, mothers, so that our members can attend our drills and meetings. Because if you're not attending our drills and meetings, you're not up to date on your training, you're not up to date on what's going on in the firehouse. If you're not making drills, fire calls are a lot harder for you to say, hey, I want to go, because first off, I'm not sure what's going on anymore. And you've lost that, drive to be there. Once you missed, in my past, if I've missed 2 drills, 3 drills, boy, it's really easy to skip that next one and the next one after that. And fire calls, unless it's something really bad, I just sleep through that stuff. So that is a new line that we think would be a very good value to our members and, of course, to the town, so that we can see the members attending their drills and trainings that we would like them.
How do you come up with that? Like the other units doing that or
I've
whatever?
asked around a little bit. Nobody has a set program that I've heard yet. Everyone's like, wow, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of what I run into is still the other departments are running with personnel, lower personnels, but they do not have what we had for a little while. What we still have is we have the younger generation that have their kids.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these other guys, I don't think still have that hook into the younger families as we're trying to keep, because that's the next thing is the next generation's down.
I know a lot of schools are doing that now too, to get parents in, they're giving them a childcare space. A lot of schools, would you do something in-house, like as they're training, would it be in the fire?
So we have to walk through that program carefully, because I'm not sure at what point we trip the trigger that we're a child care provider in the firehouse. I don't think we want any part of that,
That's what I'm
because that changes all the stuff inside the firehouse. And
Yeah, do you have anybody in mind? Like, is there any local, like, have you reached out?
we haven't started yet, because it's, we're
Wait to see if you.
waiting. We put a lot of work in, and it's a
Yeah.
fail right off the bat. We're
Put the horse in front of the cart.
yeah, well, we're gonna try and see how this can play out a little bit more. We've had a few discussions and meetings as to how this works. The biggest one, of course, is that liability portion. Can it be in-house? Should it be in-house? It would be easier for all of us if it was. Because you just come to the firehouse with your kids, they go off to the space that they're gonna be in for the night, and we start doing what we need. Versus if it's, you have to take them somewhere, then now you need to be there, drop them off before we technically start a drill, and just adds more variables to it. Not unachievable, but I think it's definitely something that would be a great asset for us to offer to our guys and gals. So
Are you thinking that money, that 5,000 is for paying a person to do it?
that's what that covers, is this salary. Because the first thing was, why can't we have somebody volunteer? Well, we can't get people to volunteer here. Now I'm going to say, hey, can you watch their kids do? That's probably not going to work that great. We don't want to set the program up to fail. So if we set up a program, hey, we're going to watch your kids, and then all of a sudden we don't have anybody to volunteer, well, that program already failed. Our members are, not so interested because everything we're trying to move forward with isn't working so well. Overall, on operations, with that $5,000 addition, it would be an 8% increase of $10,500. So we go from $29,050 to an operational budget of $139,550. So that's on the operations portions of the budget. Sorry, so the total increase on the budget not sure, I misquoted. But the decrease above is $9,700, a 6% budget, total operations budget increase or total budget increase. The big one, the truck replacement fund, has been our problem. Probably a year or two after, no, COVID. COVID's the one that threw that way out the window. So currently we're funding the truck replacement plan at $130,000. Our goal had been way back in 2015 to be at $150,000 within a few years of that 2015. Never came to fruition based on just other budgeting stuff having to happen. So now we're still only at 130 and we're 10 years in essence into that plan. So, what we want to do is go to 145 based on the last sheet. I believe you guys had seen a forecasting sheet for how much the fund would look like. Put it into a spreadsheet as well, kind of break it out. That page is the truck replacement plan itself. And that's been the plan, working plan since 2015. But that's last page there breaks out at the current $130,000 allocation where the monies fall every fiscal year. Far right column, of course, shows in line with that middle page when we were supposed to be purchasing a vehicle according to the plan. The big one, of course, first off, even at the 175, July 1 of 2028 is the area where we would take delivery of the new truck that would have to be ordered within the next year. We're at currently about 2 years for the build time on that size of a fire apparatus. We would still need to come up with additional funding of $395,000 versus if we only stay at the 130 is $760,000. And then from there down, it just keeps adding the monies back to the next truck replacement. 2032, of course, would be replacing utility 554, which would be 15 years old at that point. Thought was 100,000. I think that's a little ambiguous, but we keep getting shot in the foot by being conservative. So, and the thought with the 15-year replacement on that is that the truck is still worth money to trade, swap, sell outright, however it may be, instead of it being the current position we're in where we're holding onto a truck that's 30 years old that we can't sell. Again, adding down through 2037 is replacing the first truck of this entire plan back in 2017, ZTA 552, and at that point it's 20 years old. I believe that number, probably the 1.5, is a little conservative, but we're hoping if nothing else at that point, still that 20-year-old truck is worth something more than what we're currently experiencing. Then the next bigger is 2039. Reason why that one, the 551 falls at a different pace, that chassis is not a heavy duty chassis, it's a medium duty truck. So we don't want to get it to the point where we're spending more money on maintaining and keeping it on the road than what its value is to just refurb it or replace it at that point.
Can you just tell me what's your total trucks? Like what do you have? Like,
So if you go back to that middle thing, a little bit for you. So we have the third little blurb, 2 ETAs, so they're the main pumpers in the town. 1 utility truck that serves to pull the trailers as the first to pull the UTVs. The second is the brush utility. That's the one we're currently replacing right now with your funds. That is built more towards fighting a grass and brush fire and can also serve to pull trailers and just move gentlemen or guys, girls around. And then the mini pumper, that little ER. And then we have the Tahoe, which is our command car utility that is split with constable for its dual function. And the 2 UTVs. So the way the plan was originally written, the 2 ETAs, so the 2 tankers, pumpers, are the big trucks. Those we would buy, the plan is to buy one every 10 years. So the one that you call and say, my house is on fire, I think it's on fire, that 1 to 10-year-old truck is the first one to leave to get to your house. The second one is going to be that 10 to 20-year-old of the same style. So we're building these trucks so they are almost as identical as they can be, with what little bit of changes we want to make it more, we like this much about this one. Next time, let's change this a little bit more to make it more, more efficient, better for us. So that 1 to 10-year-old truck is the first due into the town. That 10 to 20-year-old truck is then second due into town. And it's the first one that goes mutual aid. So if somebody calls from another town, that would be the one. So the first 1 to 10, we're counting on that new piece to be reliable piece that's working for the town. The second is there for that backup position to fill in for, the next needs after the first one starts its work.
Yeah, like what's available? Is there anything? Grants or anything?
The only one for truck firefighting grants is the Assistance to Firefighter Acts grant, which is a federal grant. For a fire truck, it's nigh impossible for like us, because first off, we're somewhat forward. We have some funds. We actually have a plan built to do this.
Mm-hmm.
We're not waiting until we have a truck that's non-serviceable.
Mm-hmm.
We're still beating the wheels off of it and causing problems. So it's hard enough to get an equipment grant through the Assistance to Firefighter grants. We wrote, I think, for 4 years for our air pack grants, and our air packs were out of compliance by the time that we won the grant. Whereas right now, for fire trucks, it's, I think, FEMA Region 1, our region here, gets 1 or 2 trucks a year through that whole grant process. There's not a lot of money. Everybody tries to write for them. They a lot of times say, if you don't have it, if it's not old and it's not unsafe, you're not really. They're still picking at people that don't have seatbelts and they're open cab back fire truck stuff. So that's where they're feeding that stuff, unfortunately.
So left column is where we're at, right column is where you'd like to be.
Yep.
So still, like, what would happen if 2028 comes and we need 700? We'd have to obviously take that little bond vote or something if that was the case.
Mm-hmm.
But do you, 25 years old, obviously the car doesn't just die, but like how real, I just don't know much about big engines. Like, is it
Right.
realistic to stretch that any farther?
So the stretch on it right now, that was the one that was just in the accident when it was out there for its repairs. They had to go through the truck on 22. Yeah, the box has a whole bunch of corrosion on it already. The paint's flaking off in quite a few spots. Box has already been repainted 11 years ago from the manufacturer. And he was looking at $25,000 to repaint that box. So, to stretch it more years, unfortunately, we still fall in the category. We're not gonna, I don't believe at the current, if we do the new allocation, we eventually might catch the cost of it, but it seems to be going up between 8 and 10% every year on the cost of the vehicle.
Yeah, so it's growing faster than you can chase it.
Right. So that's why
It seems to me like I've been on this board for a couple of years now, and it doesn't seem like we're ever in a position to just go out and buy something with this current plan 10 years ago. So it seems like it's been 10 years of trying to make the budget match the plan. I think you might need to think about the plan matching the budget a little bit better. I think you have to adjust stuff on that end a little bit. But meet at a better number, because this doesn't seem to be working after 10 years to get to these numbers.
It is hard to imagine coming up with everybody. I mean, this is the one thing where I feel like public standpoint, when we put money somewhere, like people definitely appreciate the fire department compared to like extracurriculars, so it's an easy, like, it's an easy sell for the most part, but it's still just a ton of money. Like, even if we do we still would need to ask for 400,000 on like a bond vote in 3 years. And it just,
part of it, what I did not put on here is at the 175, that 395. You could look and see that the way the funding worked out, that in 2037, we're only $25,000 short of that truck.
Yeah.
We pulled short-term funding to make that stopgap of that $400,000 in 2028.
Yeah.
That could possibly be pulled partially from the truck fund, safety fund money itself. So there's a chance. Math has to be done, and I've rewritten every kind of which way I can make it feasible, I see. But that fund could possibly be paying that portion of what money would need to be, unfortunately, borrowed from somebody else in another term.
You're right. It's just so hard to see the future and the cost of everything. It's, whether you're buying a house, a car, or a fire truck.
So the only thing, Alan, for yours, for me to extend these timelines to make them match what we have for money, we're going to be extending the trucks to, right now, we have the truck that we're running, in place of the one that was in the accident that's 30 years old, and we have it on the market for $15,000. There's nobody interested in it at all. So it's not even worth the money at all. Versus if we're at 20 years, that truck, a 20-year-old used engine, I was looking today, are still like almost $100,000 to $200,000, depending on what type of truck it is, that is still worth. So to go another 10 years and lose $80,000 in valuation on a truck and have it cost more on repairs, and it falls out of line of course, NFPA guidance of how old the truck should be. They don't really want them to be above 20 years old.
Obviously, this plan doesn't work if it hasn't worked after 10 years of trying to get there. And I mean, there's only a finite amount of money the town can put into the fire department. It's never going to catch up to this plan. And I think the plan might have to try to match our numbers a little bit better. I don't think the town's going to be trying
Do
to
you have an idea of what the number looks like? So I could even try and come up with that.
I think we
So
could
fortunately, I
sit
tried.
down with like probably just you guys someday,
Go.
like
Yeah.
maybe not in this setting, but like
there's a lot of other smaller towns in Vermont, and I know we always go back to the NFPA guidelines. I mean, that's pie in the sky. If anyone's going to crack down on that, the whole state of Vermont is.
Fortunately, they're talking about it already.
Yeah.
So the OSHA stuff kind of was following NFPA, starting down the NFPA trail. Politically, it changed a little bit with the change of the presidential thing, but if that changes again,
Well, I see we're miles ahead of any other surrounding fire department already. So if
I would like to stay there. Going downhill to me is a disservice to my members and to the town of Poultney. Just if we're going to sit here and say that we can go cheaper on our guys, on our stuff, I'm not for it. My apologies.
you just have to understand that there's only so much money you can put into this thing.
I understand.
When you add new lines for 5,000 on top of the $45,000 increase, that's insult to injury when it comes to budget.
Unfortunately, nobody had sitting here is paid tonight.
That's what I understand. Volunteer fire department has been for ever. Part of it.
I do appreciate the breakdown, however, because I know that gives us, it's nice that you do that. Not a lot of people do that. And it's good that you break it down. So at least we have an idea and something to look over and see.
You're more than happy someday.
Yeah, there's thoughts and people, yeah. Yeah.
we just
Don't forget to.
had a specific fire budget, just so it's like you just figure out what's best, meet somewhere in the middle, or like you said, it seems like unfortunately both are hands are tied. Like you can only stretch in vehicles so long before it's dangerous or obsolete. And we only have so much money, but obviously we have to all figure out, like, do you have any sort of like ongoing like place where people can donate money or anything? Like, I know it's a stretch to get anything significant, but like
We have been fairly successful with outside grants on other equipment stuff, as well as the one of the UTVs, of course. The whole kit and caboodle was from the Conan Family Foundation.
Cool.
For the eight.
So
I do think something with the childcare is very important, but I think that's something we can look into other options too, instead of coming in budget, like ways that we can, that's important. I don't know whether to the stage or something like that. It is a topic, so something to look at, but great. Anybody have any other questions for our crew?
You're in the hard position.
yeah.
All right, so your object is to just get astronomical.
With the price of vehicles.
We do appreciate the fire department and all that you do and
We understand
organization.
that fully.
You know, we do.
Right.
Thank you for all your support.
And what you've done, even with the rink, when you guys go down on Tuesdays, above and beyond, we do appreciate that to keep that rink going. So thank you for that too. All right, anybody else have any other questions for them?
Hmm.
Thank you. Thank you both. Nice meeting you for coming. Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks, fella.
The Poultney Rescue Squad is leaving the building.
Deb or Debbie?
Debbie,
Debbie. All right, Debbie. Did you inform us?
I do not.
Okay.
I
I
apologize.
just gonna check and wanted to make sure I wasn't supposed to be looking at it.
You guys got my better 51,000 this year again. Did fairly well last year. We answered a good portion of our calls. We did have a couple months that we were a little behind. We are maintaining with 4 people holding the fort down, as it were, for the most part. Rachel is working part-time. We have Josiah full-time. Cadence is doing full-time hours, even though she's not a full-time employee. And we have James working part-time. They're doing 90% of the calls. Was a point this summer that we had a serious conversation about whether we were gonna stay or if we were gonna go. It got really tight this summer. As to with the insurances not paying. And just not having, the morale was down there. I haven't given my crews a raise in 2 years because I don't have the financials with me, but we are just making ends meet to keep the doors open and be able to pay them. And I made it work this summer. I made it work this year with them. We've done our best to keep everything going. We've had an outpour of support from the community members. We do have our few that have expressed their dissatisfaction with the fact that we don't respond or we're not there for them. Unfortunately, we can't be there with only 4 people 24/7. We try our best, and I do give my crew the highest regards for what they do. They try very, very hard. We have a few that stay on as per diems, but they're not responding and they will be let go. We have another full-time person who will be coming back in the next month, so we will have 5 people. But again, without the funding and the help, it is very difficult. I appreciate them staying because there are other agencies out there that do ask for a lot more from their towns. Fairhaven is one of them. They get much more than what we ask for, and they're able to pay more. But it's out of community dedication that Rachel and Josiah stay, because both of them are Poultney residents and they do stay. And Cadence is dedicated because she's been here since she was a junior. She could go to Fairhaven because she does work for Fairhaven. She could go there and make more money. They could all go to regional and make more money. Because Jim Finger or Mike Tarbell now, Jim's retired, but they could pay $4 more an hour than what I can start them at.
I mean, I can't speak for the board, but I think it would be, I would like to see if we had that. I mean, I can listen to you, but if we had something in writing, let's just know, like, I know I've been a couple places where the calls come out, and Fairhaven does do a lot of our calls here in Granville. Unfortunately, I've been in a place where they had to call the rescue squad twice. So I just would love to see, because we've had this conversation, like how many calls came in, how many did you go, how many? Because we talked about getting staff before with the extra money that we paid in the past. So I would, if it's possible for you to put that together for us and give us a sheet.
Put which?
Put how many calls you had, how many came out.
That was in the letter that I did send the report out. I gave that to Mr. Donaldson.
Must be in my allocation folder.
Yeah, I did send out
I
that
can
we
give you a copy of
responded,
it. It's-
we
You
responded.
can look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we could see it and.
Is the 150 itemized on the what you sent Paul? Like
That's a pretty.
who gets what and how much?
The 50 is
Salary.
51, it's $51 per capita for what we want for the town to help us out. We also bill Middletown the same amount. So we asked Middletown to support us also with the same amount and the portion of Timoth that we cover, because we do have a portion of Timoth that we cover. So it's based on the population. So this year, I don't have a final number from my accountant for this year, but I did get my final payroll. We paid $180,000 out in payroll this year. And as of the end of October, we only took in $240,000. So, and that's with our town fundings and our insurances.
Okay.
And I still have to pay out liability. I have to pay out workman's comp. So,
Everyone's hourly? Like
Yeah.
you don't have salary positions
No.
or partner, okay?
no,
That's what I was wondering.
no.
I didn't see the breakdown.
And you talk a lot that you're not sure you're gonna be able to, with this money, is it something you think? Because I know we've had this conversation before, what you need, so it's not like we're gonna have to close up shop and not be able to do it. You sound like you're on that fence, like you're not sure if you're even gonna be able to continue as a Poultney Rescue Squad or close the
At one
doors.
point this summer, we were holding paychecks on these guys because we didn't have the funds in the checkbook. It was a case of making insurance payments or giving them paychecks. And if I don't have the liability insurance on the vehicles, the buildings, the workman's comp, I can't let them run.
So is that gonna change in the money you've asked for?
We've been able to turn it around in the second half of the year because of the way the paying has changed with the insurance companies. The other thing we have is we have the federal government who's looking to pull our rural capita that we get, which is a 2% or 3%. I forget which it is that's coming in with our billing from Medicare and Medicaid. If we lose that money, we're going to be backwards again. So we have a lot of things that we go working against us in the ambulance, in the EMS services, especially being rural. I will reach out to I haven't gotten, with it being end of year, it's very hard with her to get the ending the year end, but I will reach out and I'll get the year end financials from her and email them to the board.
Okay, I just know we've had this conversation, like what should be done, and we're always talking about, do you put the money in, we thought we needed more people to help out, so you increase
We're not
it.
keeping them. We're not keeping them. They're not staying. Number one, Poultney is not a busy town. People don't want to be sitting around and waiting.
Be nice if this coming year, for a little while there, you were giving us like quarterly reports and coming in and checking in with the board
Mhm.
periodically.
Mhm.
Not-
I could,
not seeing it for years. It's
I apologize that I wasn't here this year. It's been a crazy year for me.
She is also a volunteer. She doesn't get paid. That is another, she's working full-time too, so. And none of us at the rescue squad, that's not our main job because you can't live on that wage. So, there's just like she said, we've really tried to step up and cover calls. Again, when you have 4 people trying to cover, you don't have just base salaries of people working 40 hours a week. You have people that are pulling, 60, 80 hours to try to cover this town. And of course, you're going to get into overtime. And that's what we're battling against. But if we don't have people to cover calls, then we don't cover calls. But if we have people to cover calls, you're going to go into OT. So it's a double-edged sword when you're trying to fight. And we can't, there's nobody out there. Poultney has nobody to you know, a first respond as an EMT or we have to pay for our own education. We have to pay for our own licensures, you know. So it's just something I just wanted to kind of add into that.
No, it's important. I think that's why we had the talk before, like how much we can keep giving, like we've given a big chunk of money too. And we thought that would help draw people in because you said you could pay them, would draw people in and get people interested, and therefore we kind of would be able to start a system.
They're just not there.
Obviously that didn't work. That's not something. So
They're
it's
just
like
not there.
you keep throwing money,
No,
The pool is not there.
right?
no, it's not there.
Not when, like she said, you can go to Rutland, work guaranteed paychecks in Rutland
Mhm.
because they're running calls all the time.
And
And
regional ambulance is running 16,000 calls a week or a month, whatever it is. And he's paying $24 to start his EMTs.
Well, it seems like, cause you said he paid 190 in payroll,
Mhm.
like over 4 or 5 people.
Cause I have overtime.
Well, that's like decent money. That's all like, you know,
Well, I
if
pay,
it's 4 people, it's like almost 50 grand a piece.
what am I paying?
I'm just like,
With overtime and tax, that's my full payroll.
yeah,
That's my taxes, all my taxes.
okay, before tax.
Yeah.
They might be getting 50 and
Yeah.
coming home with 30 or what. Okay. I was just thinking like, I was like, this enough money to entice some for, you know, but yeah.
You know, when I have Josiah doing 80 hours a week or 2 weeks pay period or 120 in 2 weeks because he does 80 hours. And I try to limit it, but if I limited him, then he's not responding to calls and then the town is upset or the citizens are upset because somebody's not responding, or as somebody put on the neighborhood watch, they waited 45 minutes for Granville to show up for their daughter that was seizing.
So how do you see this playing out like the next couple of years? Like at this, if you just keep getting this money, then you can make it work. Or...
We're doing our best. We are trying. We are really trying. I mean, I've recruited people and they've come, they've stayed for a year, they've left. I've had 2 people who have come in and gone the next step up and now they're paramedics. They don't want to stay working at a $22 an hour job when they can go to Rutland and make $35 an hour as a paramedic. And Poultney cannot afford to go into the paramedic level because that means we have to get the paramedic meds. We've got to get the paramedic insurance. We've got to get and then we go to the paramedic level of service.
So do you feel like once you run out of people who are kind of just doing it for the love of the community, like is it even sustainable like, from a business?
It will not be
Like
sustainable
without Rachel. Like,
without Rachel and Josiah if we don't get anybody coming in.
So I think that maybe Paul will get us what you sent in. We can look through that over. The board can have a discussion and maybe have him come back. If you have further questions, just to see like what our next steps should be.
Mhm.
I think we kind of,
and any insight or ideas, if you guys have any, we're open to those too.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But
you can make a decision about whatever.
Yes, I think
Make a
people like
decision.
having a rescue squad in town, you know, like gives people a lot of
If you have
comfort.
questions, they can come back. If we have
I mean,
questions.
when
We don't
we
question
did
that,
have, when
come back.
Katrina back 4 or 5 years ago, when Katrina
haven't seen
broke
what
her
she said.
rib, her elbow, her wrist,
Can't find the folder in there.
the town was waiting 45 minutes to an hour and a half for people to
Yeah.
respond because we were waiting on Granville, Fort Ann, Steensboro.
No, it's
So, I mean-
like,
and if you know anybody that wants-
If anybody wants to join us,
my family had an emergency. You guys were there in minutes, so it's like it's just good to have, and it'd be a shame if it was. I know
And
some
then-
people anecdotally have different stories, but
there are, like Rachel does respond, Josiah does respond when they're not on shift. So it's not just that they're doing it when they're on shift, they're doing it when they're off shift. We compensate then too. We give them an on-call pay, we give them we compensate them for their time when they come in, when they're not working.
Makes sense, okay.
So I'm just curious, what is the average trip to Rutland? What do you get reimbursed?
What do we get reimbursed?
Yeah.
you would want to do a Medicare reimbursement because let's be honest, that's the vast majority of our payer sources.
Yeah, we get
Mhm.
paid about, I think it's on a full call, we get paid about $700
Only two.
from Poultney to Rutland. That's our mileage and our medical call.
And you have two on, right?
We have
You have
to.
to have two on, right?
We have to have two licensed providers on in order to make the haul.
That's what I thought.
Unless if we have, so say Rachel responds by herself and we don't have a second person, we have to get medical control at the hospital to approve a firefighter to drive the ambulance to the hospital. Only with medical control can we can't do it like we used to where we could just say, hey, jump in and drive. We have to have medical control approve it before we can do it. Otherwise, it has to be two licensed providers to drive the ambulance.
Makes sense.
So that's the other thing. So it's not just like it used to be that, say, Rachel responds in the middle of the night to a call and say Aaron shows up and says, hey, I'll drive for you. We can't just say, okay, we'll let him drive. We have to get med control. And if med control says no, due to the nature of the call, then we have to wait for somebody else to respond if none of our other providers are available to respond.
The details of that. And is Milltown, are they looking at some other towns to help put them out?
No,
No.
no other agency has no other agency. When Middletown's first response closed down, they had talked about trying to get someone else to cover. No other agency will touch Middletown.
Regional?
No, they can't cover. They have no more capacity to cover them. Because that's really out of their call area for them. That's 30 minutes out for them to have somebody go from their spot from where they are to Middletown. Even with their West Rutland post.
Yeah, right. It's 13 miles. For average. Okay.
Does board have any more questions?
Well, thank you guys.
Welcome.
Thank you for coming. Nice to see you, Rachel.
Yeah, do the financials.
Okay, thanks.
And I can come in to the next meeting if you want in 2 weeks.
We are running a crunch with our budget, so if you do get them, if you want to drop them off Lisa or Paul, we can send it out to all the board members,
Yep.
and then we can let you know if we need you to come in again.
Okay,
That would
I
be
can do
great.
that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Anybody else?
Oh,
I think Dale's gonna come to the next meeting, the meeting after this one.
are we doing a budget next week again?
We gotta talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure we have that.
Yeah, the fireworks, I just notes on. Obviously, I went down in my homework trying to trim fat. We don't have a ton of fat to trim, obviously. Only fat was the fireworks, but really I don't see that as fat. It's more because I think killing that would be a terrible idea.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like,
I don't think
but-
we do that. We should have done that. I think it's,
would it be cleaner to just start, like, so say we start the fundraiser for the fireworks. Is it clean to like, does it just say we raise all 20 grand or whatever? Does that surplus show up at the end of the year? Like that budget, that line item just cancels out? Or is it cleaner to just, once it's paid for and we pass this budget, is it cleaner to just begin fundraising moving forward and like have the money for next year so we don't even have this on the line item? Like that's what I was wondering, if we like how to set it up.
it's a good thought. We're gonna get together with a group of us just to see what we could do, but.
I think at least we can, I think we can at least raise half and bring it down to the original number. That doesn't seem like out there, you know?
Organizations to help out too. Is this,
ERC in on this. I think, but
Romary's
Yeah.
already talked about.
And the problem is right now, the fireworks company's like, hey, we need your deposit. Here's the new price because of Chinese tariffs or whatever it is. So we don't have time right now. It's like pay or
But it's
cancel.
not gonna go up anymore. Once we booked it, we're set. Or we're not sure?
That's what I've told, that's the minimum
That's the minimum, okay.
display.
Because I know we do get some funding, which we have in the past, so it's just a matter of what we really need, so that is something. But I do, before we go into our next meeting, I do want to look over the highway department budget, which Paul upgraded, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then we'll go back to,
So if you remember the rescue squad, was it last year?
yeah, before it was
Yeah.
80, wasn't it? Yeah, before 89.
I think last year they asked for the same amount and this board gave them 130,000.
Right, 132.
Because the budget you have now doesn't reflect what she's asking for.
Yeah, she said same as last year.
Yeah.
Maybe she meant asking.
Wasn't the year before we had the extra?
The year before, I think it was the year before where they said, we don't know if we're gonna make it.
We gave them.
We need more money and we used half of it was ARPA funds that
Yeah.
we,
Just to give them, because they wanted to hire new people and beef up the salary to get
but
more.
we're still in the same conversation
Yes. Yes, we are.
that we were 3-4 years ago, that they're barely getting by,
Right.
That is gonna be a
unfortunately.
Yeah,
conversation.
that's what I was worried about, because it sounded like they're just doing it for the love of Poultney, and then they run out of people doing it for the love of Poultney pretty soon, you know?
It's been
Slow slide.
this way for,
Long time.
let's say 5 years. Yeah.
Seems like it would take more money to fix it than we can dish out. Like,
Well,
what's
we
it?
talked about the building too. That's not even in there. Last year they talked about the building needs too.
The building needs.
There was, some issues. Yeah.
There was one, at one point they discussed, well, the town said, would you consider consolidating in the
Yeah.
fire department building? And the board their board was no. And then a word on the street was that we only offered that because we thought we were gonna end up with their property, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we would want it, but
They should.
We should.
Yeah. If they're that tight, I guess I wish they were here and Aaron was here and like we knew if that was even possible. But it sounds like a couple of years ago you looked into it.
To see the response numbers, what I'd really like to see.
That's what I want to see too.
It did seem very casual. Like I just wanted to see the numbers, like calls, you know.
Yeah, she was, after we gave the big allotment a couple years ago, she was very good for a year coming in, giving us a quarterly report of how things were working
Okay.
out. All that, but
Yeah.
it's been lacking in the past.
So she's truly a volunteer though. Like that's what Rachel said. Like we don't have her own salary.
We don't.
Or no.
Run salary.
Yeah.
We give them that allotment, what they.
And they do what they want with it.
Say, like the library, yeah. Yeah, Michael manages, like, here's your
Yeah, more homework.
budget, homework. But I do want to have a chance before we make another meeting for budget, is just look at the new highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul just got me one a few minutes ago.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
so this one, I think when I sent it to you last week, I said I was gonna look at it again this weekend. Which I did, so I tweaked the one that I sent last week is not the one that we're gonna be looking at. So you'll see as I stated in our last budget meeting, proposing a 4% cost of living increase for each laborer. Last year we budgeted for another full-time position, which we had. And that person, correct me if I'm wrong, that person left, right?
Correct.
And so Joel and I were talking about, do we continue with a 5-man plan, or do we consider some other alternative? Whether we work with local contractors when they're short a person that we could, turn to, and I don't know if we've made any headway on that, Joel.
I'm in the process of, I didn't bring it with me, doing exactly what Paul said, a list of Poultney residing businesses that are pre-approved by insurance standards, which means they have a $1 million liability, that could help us in for lack of curse words, Mayday situation. I don't know, 3 years ago, if you remember, in a couple hours, we went from 4 trucks to 1 truck, plow trucks.
Mm.
I'm trying to think of something preemptively to not allow us to get to that state again. Even that ice storm 2 weeks ago was just like, that would have been a Mayday situation in my eyes.
Just have like a
So,
grill type guy or something.
so I have a list. I have not been able to talk to Rob Brill. I have been able to speak with Ryan Davenport. Chestnut is not an option, a viable option for wintertime. He doesn't do plowing. And he's not even in the state for the winter. So, Philsco is a go with it. He has up to 3 trucks with plows and sanders that he could supplement us with. I'm still waiting on numbers. I really didn't even want to mention this until I had everything in place for you, so that you didn't have any questions to ask me. Not because I don't mind questions, but no, I mean, it makes it easier, does it not? When you don't have to say, well, what about this? What about this? I'd rather just get it bulletproofed and then bring it to you. But I've already working on a few different aspects of it. And it can be a backup list. Keith Williams, he's already on the town's insurance list. He's willing to do it. He has to get me a rate. Basically, how it would work, just to give you a quick idea, is we would supply this subcontractor, if you will, with the aggregate or the salt, depending on what we're tasking them with. So it'll come out of our planned supply, our budgeted supply, because we're not overusing, we're gonna have to use this regardless. So we're gonna supply that, they're gonna supply a driver and a piece of apparatus that they could use to help us out in this Mayday situation. In the summertime, I can call Davenport or Philsco or Chestnut for an excavator if we, if say our excavator breaks or whatever. It's the winter one is the concerning one, because if we can't maintain the roads at a reasonable rate or to a reasonable standard, fuel trucks can't do fuel deliveries, septic trucks can't do, a pump out, fire. They're going to have a heck of a time trying to get to the back roads. EMS, one of those 2 ambulances, the Poultney Rescue Squad, is only 2-wheel drive. So
Going to my house.
yeah, right. So, we have a standard that we have to be able to maintain, and this is kind of a bulletproof backup plan to do that. Anyways, I think that's efficient to take away from a 5th full-time person.
We live in an area where there's a dozen.
We just come up with some contingencies.
Sand and salt.
Guy, contingency plan.
Yeah, I like it. And you would use the full-time salary that's currently not used to disperse those payments? Is that what you're saying? Or is that?
Well, so the budget item where it said part-time labor, that was a full-time originally budgeted salary. I've estimated a number, 30,000.
Okay.
So that dropped based on what we were budgeting for the full-time labor. And again, that's just an estimate. I mean,
Okay.
I don't think either Paul or I have really had much of a chance to actually discuss it and what it could potentially look like. So
Okay.
I think he was trying to get something reasonable and just like the fire department. I realize just because we got all these problems doesn't mean we can just keep pulling money and money and money. So
So, if you look under summer construction, I've increased the budget for culverts. I've slightly increased the resurfaced graveling budget and increased the reconstruction budget. These are all proposals, obviously. Roadside mowing, because we now have our own mower, I've dropped that considerably. I think the only roadside mowing that we contract out is guardrail maintenance now, Rachel.
the guardrails,
Yeah,
yes, that has to be contracted out to Lafayette.
no, the roadside mowing guardrails.
Oh, yeah.
Gary does most of this. Gary did that.
Yeah. And I think we could you know, consider maybe doing away with that too. I guess well, I mean, that's, you know,
Outside mowing is something people complain about all, you know, we didn't get too much when it works through.
well, look at what, you know, look at what well, maybe that would be part of that part-time laborer gets in the tractor mower when we have another 140 incident. It's hard to foresee. You
I know, but I just know that was an issue this year, that there was a lot of time.
It
We actually
was
so
because
busy
we
on
had it
projects
in the-
that
yeah.
we didn't have any roadside mowing done. A lot of,
And then when I think we were able to get to it, just like the road grading, roadside mower broke down and then the grader broke down. So once we finally had the time and the manpower available to use the machine, we didn't have the machine to.
So if you flip the second page, the other increases include, increase in the retirement, social security, small increase in the health and life insurance, and the health reimbursement. Supplies and equipment, a small increase in that. Electricity, increase. Water sewer budget slightly increased. Repair and maintenance supplies, there's a $5,000 increase in that. I propose a modest $10,000 increase in the equipment replacement fund from 135 to 145. But if this board decides that they will fund fully the fire department's ask, we'll probably ask for the same amount as them. So as it looks right now, as it's proposed right now, you're looking at a 5.2% increase on the highway department proposed budget.
Where did I see the budget for overtime, Joel?
Yeah.
Do you have what it ended up being this year? That's the only number I don't see. Like, because obviously it shows as an increase, but it's really the same number it was in 24 that you spent, that you're asking for.
Yeah,
It's,
No, it's more,
Maybe it's on the
37 on the front page. Just hiding down.
yeah. Well, so in 24 it was 46,000 spent,
Right.
and they're asking this year for 40. So it shows as an 8% increase from the 37 that they asked for this year, but it's really lower than they paid in 24. So I was
well,
thinking,
it all depends on, so I'm just looking at my sheet here, my, December 2nd, Nisha ran the expenses here to, you know, for the current fiscal year. Let's see where the hell. Where the heck am I? $1,500 from July 25 to December 2nd of 25.
Mhm.
We spent $1,500. So it really depends on, you know, when the storms are, what emergencies are we responding to.
yeah, I'm more just getting out in front of it. I feel like people are going to see, because we've had conversations just in my time on the board where people are worried about how the 4-man or the 4-day week turned into more overtime, et cetera, et cetera. So I was just pointing out that although it reads as an 8% increase to the budget, we've spent actually more than that. So if they came in at that number lower this year, they'd be like historically saving money is my point. Because it's like they spent 46 in 24. So although 40,000 overtime budget reads as an increase, and people might just, I think people, if they do get this document, will look down this line, look what increases, and then gripe about it. My point, be like, well, see, overtime, they're milking it. But really, if you did hit that number or less, you're actually decreasing it because you used more than that. Is my point.
I mean, it goes, you know, it's a guess.
Yeah,
That's
that's why I wonder if he had this year's number total.
yeah, 1,500 through December 2nd, but
Out of 40,000?
what is it gonna be? I never know. I mean, you don't know when there's a windstorm that takes out a bunch of trees. You don't
Like,
know.
you did great. It's 1,500.
You know, you don't anticipate a road project like we had on 140 that
Yeah,
was
so
way
it's-
more than we ever thought it was gonna be.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah,
Way
the
more.
disaster fund.
It's also only treat when they over time when they treat the road, they go at 2 to check the roads and treat the road.
I mean, I guess, you know, Nisha and I still intend to look at that, you know, how many days on Friday were overtime hours, but there's only so many hours in the day for us to, you know, analyze that report.
Yeah. No, it looks reasonable to me. I was pointing out. I was just seeing.
But I also think, you know, I mean, you can't have them, if it snows in the middle of the night and they're out, you can't say, okay, you had your 8-hour day, come on, go home.
Yeah.
Um,
Do we have, and this is my homework, do we have, like, what year did you switch to the 4-day week?
2 years ago.
Like, I guess that'd be the number. I know we're still kind of in the middle of a case study on what's more efficient, so it's not like I'm trying to axe that. I'm just saying, like, if we had like the 4 years prior to the 4-day switch, what the overtime use was, that's just, I've heard people mention it enough times where I'm kind of doing math on it. I guess is all I'm saying.
We made that decision a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it looks fine to me.
I do have a question about the water and sewer. Why it was 750, then 2,500 and 750. And
People had a water line in the shop.
Yeah, in the last 2 years, Nisha's actually reached out to me twice after receiving our water bill and said, I just got the bill, you know, and this was up substantially from, you know, the previous one. So I actually had Alan Glenn explain how the water meter works, because I'm not familiar with provided utilities. And yeah, we found out that we've had a couple of leaks in a rather short amount of time, and an unfortunate amount of water can be leaked out. So
leaks in the garage, you're saying?
oh, we have a current one in the off the back side of the garage that goes to our yard spigot. I actually couldn't tell you how long before we found out that it was leaking. And the other one, I don't recall what it was, but we nipped it as soon as we figured it out. So
Yeah, it's like a 1-inch hose bursts in the night or something. You're not there for 6 hours. It's an ungodly amount of water.
It's a big difference in
Yeah.
price. Yes. $2,000. Wow.
It's getting expensive. That water is not.
But you feel
It's expensive to run the village.
I know.
I don't think people realize how expensive it is.
yeah,
you feel you've gotten all leaks.
oh, I mean,
That-
well, I've got that one that I've just got it shut down right now, and we only turn it on as we absolutely need it. That goes to Outback because it's leaking underground, and it's not, you know, terribly crucial to have that one going all the time. So
That's a big difference, yeah.
And you do water.
to speak to the water thing too, we do try to, we have a river pump that we try to utilize in the summertime to wash our equipment, or if we get flush culverts. What we're using for water now is, you know, it's for restroom purposes, or to wash trucks off in the storms to try to preserve the life of the truck. So we can't throw a river pump in this time of the year, unfortunately. If I can speak to the culverts one quickly.
Culverts.
Yeah, you can see we've spent a lot of money in culverts in the last couple of years. Paul and I have talked about this a couple times. I don't know historically going way far back, because I don't have a book to refer to or some sort of document, but what it feels like, the best sense I can make out of it is that a good majority of the culverts, whenever they were originally installed, was basically around the same time frame. And that's why it seems like we have having so many go bad, you know, in the same time frame too.
They just got more expensive too, or?
They've gotten a little bit more expensive,
No.
but we have to consider all of the culverts that are fed by a perennial stream. Ever since Irene, Agency of Natural Resources, is in complete control of the sizing of culverts. So I'll refer you to the culvert out on Route 140 this year, the Grant culvert. That went from a 30 or 36-inch culvert to a 52 by 77 because of the state said that it had to be that size
Probably right.
due to a 100-year flood plan that they have. So that's perennial culvert streams are completely out of our control as to, hey, let's throw a $10,000 culvert in here. We're getting that. That's mandated by the state. So hopefully we can stop changing some of the culverts here.
Yeah, you're going to.
We're getting tired of it ourselves. So, but I did want to shed a little light on that. It's only $5,000 involved.
What's the reconstruction? That the roads, it's that?
Yeah.
It is, so
Yeah.
that's it, because that's why it's fluctuating, okay.
Yes.
Just think the roadside mowing should stay in there. I think it's big.
Oh, yes.
Save it in at 20,000.
I think it's, what is it in for now?
1,600.
Roadside mowing? Oh, 1,600. Yeah, 1,600. Yeah, you have it in for.
That's just.
That's not
For
doable.
the guardrail weed eating.
Just, yeah, 'cause yeah.
Budget that amount.
Mhm.
Do you guys want to take a little break between your meetings?
But what about, we have the one other item, whether we want to start to put aside some money for building changeover. We started to talk about it last week. Right.
What do you want to take it out of? Did you look at all?
Well, I'm pretty well settled that if we put a line item in, asking the town if they want to do this.
Your thoughts on that, Paul?
I mean,
Yes.
I think you should ask like you have in the past, particularly when you did for the rescue squad, we have, it's separate article on the
Yeah.
warning. That's that's how I would, recommend you do it.
We're not talking.
That's all mine.
I think we need it. I mean, that's the bottom line is nobody wants to pay money, but nobody wants deferred buildings and
Well,
Yeah.
broken fire trucks and like, we're in a weird spot.
right.
So, obviously your first is look to trim the fat, but there's really
Yeah.
not much fat to trim. What do we cancel the fireworks? Cause they
Right.
like,
Right.
so we're gonna,
That's like baking a cake and ice.
yeah, I think whatever,
Ice because
yeah.
I like
Last thing, I think if we take away stuff for like the kids in town, it's just like, what do we do?
Right.
But,
so can we write a letter and put it in as a line item?
I think we have to do something. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I don't know the number yet, but just be like, hey,
How
people, we need
200,000.
money to
Get it started.
It's a big number.
Let's look, we definitely have to have another budget meeting soon.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's look before, so we can take a quick break before we start the next meeting. What are we thinking?
How much longer do we have for budget talks?
2 weeks?
February 2nd, I think it is.
Really, just see it through the month. We'll meet once or twice more at least about it.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to talk? We can't do Monday because it's Martin Luther King Day. We have next Wednesday, Thursday,
It
21st.
seems to work if we come in at like 5 o'clock.
You want to do it before the next select board? That's the 26th, so it's pretty late. You want to
I
wait
think we
another
need
week?
to do it next
We
week.
should do it. I do too. What's the best day for anybody? Wednesday, Thursday?
Do any night at like 4:35.
Next week, the goal.
Is that Wednesday?
Next week's, the 22nd is the village board meeting.
So you're tied up Thursday anyway. Do you want to do it before your meeting or no? Mondays, we're trying to think if that's what you'd like to do. Everybody do Thursday? Can you do Thursday at 5?
Thursday at 5.
Budget. Mark, can you do Thursday at 5?
Mm-hmm.
I value that.
22nd.
Okay, next Thursday, 22nd, 5 o'clock.
and then we'll probably like pass it or whatever on the Monday, the 27th,
How to finalize it.
or finalize it, or
Finalize
look
it.
to.
We'll look to get everything that we need done.
All right,
Sounds good.
homework, I'll stand up for one.
Let's stretch for a minute.
Someone want to make a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn this. Second.
Yes.
Okay, Alan did, second, all in favor? All right.
Aye.
Any opposed?
For those of you online, if you want to join the next meeting, I'm just gonna mute it. Second.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. I'm gonna do new, who've been here a while. Everybody had a chance to look at minutes from December 22nd, January. The agenda.
Oh, yeah,
first, I guess.
How about adopt the agenda first?
Yeah, I'm saying, about the agenda first.
Yeah.
A second,
Second.
second by Mark, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Agenda adopted, no bad things. Everybody had a chance to review the minutes? Being thoughtfully good.
Oh, yes, I do move 12/22.
Have anybody had a chance to look them over?
Yes. I look them over.
Seconded by Val, all in favor? Any opposed? 1 minutes with the correction, done.
If I could, ask, could we cover the statewide SDP public information meeting regarding sidewalk improvements first? Eric, there you are.
Yeah, I'm here. Do you want to do any sort of introduction or do you want me to just jump in?
You can introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Okay, sure. Let me just share my screen. I've got my presentation up. Hey, can everybody see that?
Thank you, yes.
Okay, well, my first slide is the project team, so I guess we can start right there. So this project, we'll get into in the next phase, but I'm Eric Alling, an engineer with Stan Tech, working on the statewide spot improvements project. From the town of Poultney, really the school, we worked with Louis Malazzo and Ethan Pepin. Also on the project team is the Stan Tech manager, Chris Gendron, and at VTrans, it's Derek Kennison. So what we'll cover tonight is, mouse is malfunctioning. We'll look at the typical project development process. We'll review the project area. We'll go through some of the existing conditions and proposed designs, and then we'll discuss next steps. Now, why are we here? So this project in Poultney is part of a larger group of projects. This is part of the VTrans Bike Ped grant program. The state found some leftover Safe Routes to School money a couple of years ago, packaged it all up into a grant. Several municipalities and schools applied. 6 were awarded. For Poultney, it's going to be new sidewalk in front of the elementary school. And also it's going to adjust the crosswalk a little bit to make it more perpendicular. This is how projects typically happen. You start in project definition, which is the scoping phase. Once that's done successfully, projects can get funding through grant programs. And then after that happens, it's typically design and then construction. These projects are considered more maintenance type projects. So the project definition phase was bypassed and it went straight into that funding pool, and Poultney Elementary School, along with 5 other municipalities, was able to secure some funding for their projects. And excuse me, the other thing about this one is most grant programs require some sort of a match. This one is 100% state funded.
Yay. Wow.
We'll take it.
Best news today.
And I apologize for my voice. I've had that flu that it seems like everybody's had. I'm better now, but the cough and the laryngitis just don't want to go away. So bear with me. So a little bit about the project site on Allen Ave. The speed limit is 25, about 230 vehicles per day based on a 2008 traffic count. The right of way is 3 rods. And of course, we're here to deal with the elementary school. And you can see the driveway to that just to the left of the picture. All right, so what are we doing at the school? It's actually a really straightforward maintenance project. The existing sidewalk is in not great condition. There's some uneven panels and the sidewalk is not in great shape. So what this project will do is simply remove the existing sidewalk and replace it with brand new 5-foot concrete sidewalk and new curb. The only real changes are that the existing sidewalk ends now right about at the stop bar. And then there's sort of this like unclear asphalt bituminous area, and then the crosswalk kind of cuts across here. You can just see the faint markings on the aerial photo. So we're going to extend the sidewalk all the way to this corner and then cross perpendicular to reduce that length of crossing, which means kids are in the road for a less amount of time. And then one more panel gets added here to connect it to the existing sidewalk that continues on. These will all get ADA or ProWAG compliant ramps with the detectable warning surfaces. Here, and here. And then the only other thing we're doing is right now there is no curb cut and ramp at the school entrance. So this project will remove a few panels of concrete and then replace it with a proper ADA ramp. So timeline, we are really close to the end. This is the last public meeting out of all 6 that we had to do. So contract plans are essentially finished, as are the specifications. Those are going to V-Trans this week. They'll take one more review and bidding will be soon after. And they may actually not even bid it. They may go through a different process and then select a few different small contractors, one for each sort of region of where these projects are. And either way, it will be constructed this summer. And we are hopeful and thinking that it'll happen while school is not in session. So it won't be very disruptive.
What records?
So that's it. Really basic maintenance project here. Just wanted to come and let the town know what's going on and give people a chance to ask any questions or provide any comments, and I can take those at this time.
Eric, how long do you think the whole process will take? Because I know we do other functions at the school in the summertime.
Yep. I'm seeing this project as like probably maybe 3 weeks of actual active construction. Once a contractor selected, there will also be a resident engineer who will reach out to people at the school and make sure that it's coordinated. And there may be some wiggle room if there's a big event coming up. The contractor may be able to work around that and either delay or push this work forward to avoid those conflicts.
Nice, because we do have some things, yeah. July 4th, yeah.
Keep up with it.
Looks great. Anybody on the board have any questions?
Oh yeah, the biggest thing would be July 4th, right?
Yeah.
And rec starts after, there's a lot of things that do go on the
Yeah.
school that afternoon, but yeah.
Well, that's great.
Looks
So
great.
during July 4th, I can actually put something in the contract that will require the contractor to not have active construction during that period. Is that sort of the one event you can think of where you really wouldn't want to have construction happening?
Well, we have to plan. I mean, we have recreation programs going on there
Sure.
in June all the way through. So it'd just be a matter of a different entrance or a different way that they would have to drop off or get there. They also have summer school there. So I know there's some other projects I'm sure that they're aware of.
Yeah, I don't anticipate that they'll block off the entire road. What they may have to do is hone off part of it and have some flaggers at either end of the project to let one-way traffic through. But there's not going to be a time where they completely close the school drive.
Yeah.
They'll be mostly working from the sidewalk side and the lawn behind it and excavating towards the sidewalk from there.
Yeah, that corner's always been an issue. So I was so glad when that was going to be part of it. That's good.
I'm glad to hear.
Yeah, very good.
So if there's nothing else. I've got my contact information there. If anybody thinks of anything after, please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, the next you'll hear is probably from V-Trans and their project manager when the construction gets going.
Do you have any questions?
You want to send that to me, please, Eric, your presentation, so I have that
Yes, I will do that.
I appreciate it.
Okay, now if I can just figure out how to stop sharing here, I will leave you to the rest of your meeting. Here we go. All
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
right, thanks. Have a good night.
Dale here. So. Okay, if we go back to Joel.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Joel.
Hi. I talked to our salt supplier as I was ordering some more salt, 2 weeks ago, and he's already feeling a little bit nervous, about whether we're gonna have enough salt for the whole winter. He said he usually doesn't get this feeling until about February 28th, but, he's getting it pretty early this year. If you recall, I mentioned it last year, but it was a little later in the winter that we were having troubles getting salt as needed. You know, I may have mentioned it, our salt shed's really only capable of fitting maybe 5 storms worth of salt in. We try to push it up the best we can, but it was kind of a flawed design that you just can't get the salt high in there without pushing the actual building off of the concrete blocking. So we're gonna do the best we can. I'm gonna try to stock up on it as best as I can, but
You don't think we're done with storms?
I sure wish. I'm done with winter personally, but
Don't say that.
yeah, so I think, moving forward and I need to figure out something to store a little bit more salt because, having to call every couple of storms, or we'll say we get one good ice storm. If I go and start using salt on the roads while it's actively raining and freezing, I could have burnt through that whole salt shed. If it was full, I could have burnt through the whole thing 2 weeks ago, that Sunday to Monday in a few hours, to be honest with you.
Can you partition for the sand shed off the side? Have you ever tried that?
I'm gonna consider it. However, we're already further into the sand shed due to that ice storm than we typically would be by this point of winter as well.
So
If I skimp on sand, then that means we've got to have somebody haul, or we got to take the sanders out of our trucks and start hauling to get enough sand to hopefully finish winter. So it's kind of
a lot of sand.
it's a tough call, but, I'd love to pull the chloride tanks out of there and just put a couple of extra truckloads of salt in there, but I don't have anywhere to put the chloride. I've still got like 5,000 gallons of chloride and nothing else that can hold it.
Yeah.
And I can't just put the chloride tanks outside in the sun, and now we're gonna have to consider replacing those things outside of their shelf life too. So, I just want to mention it. It was a problem last year. It looks like it's headed towards a potential problem this year. So it's out there. And then I'll talk about the ice storm that we did have, December 29th, I think, Sunday evening into Monday. Our crew -1 due to medical reasons worked from 10 p.m. Sunday evening until 7 p.m. Monday evening, nonstop, with, some water and food breaks and stuff, obviously. And we could not come close to staying on top of it. We had a hard enough time keeping our trucks on the roads. We couldn't maintain the asphalt or the gravel. It literally took that entire time to get around every single road. We had a couple places that, I'll just say this. We started off each individually picking a route and going down that, which is our normal procedure for wintertime. It was to the point where we were using so much material for us to be able to drive over the road that we ended up switching up tactics and then running one single route with 2 guys, and then eventually running that one single route with all 3 of our tandems, just to be able to get enough material to make a gain. And I know people were asking, why is the truck going by, but it's not putting any material down? Because we can't come back empty. If our truck is empty, we have no weight for traction for ourselves. We were literally using the heel of the wing, which is just like your heel. It's the back part, the rearmost part. carrying the toe of the wing up and stuffing the heel down in the ditch and literally riding the ditch line. It was that bad. And that was with chains on 7 out of 10 tires. The only thing that really kind of helped us out was putting chains on both steer tires, which is something that Dick Ferguson, who's been with the town for 22 or 23 years, he said they've never had to do that before. And we did find some specifically designed chains for ice storms, and we purchased those with the hopes that, well, I mean, we're hoping that we don't have another ice storm like that, but we do have to be prepared, because I think the amount of time it took us to get around everything was completely unreasonable. And thank God we didn't have a major EMS or fire incident during that time frame. We also did have a truck breakdown during that period that we were later able to relatively quickly and inexpensively fix. So that that was resolved, but it was a lack of, I mean, even if we had all 4 of us, I can confidently tell you there's no way we could have stayed on top of that. It was raining and freezing faster than anything.
What Paul did put it on the website, which was good.
Yeah. It was necessary, and I was almost leaning toward a localized state of emergency because we were having such a hard time keeping the trucks on the road. So,
Damn.
yeah. I didn't write it down, but I will say I did go over Evergreen Road today, and the amount of dumping on that road is at like a ridiculous, seemingly ridiculous high. So
Same spot up by Blissville or whatever.
Evergreen Road,
Yeah.
up off of Saltus, connects Poultney,
Okay.
to Fairhaven.
Yeah.
Yep, up by Howard's
Not the
garage.
same people.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you
Yeah.
for certain that it's the same people. I didn't have any gloves with me today, and I didn't know that there was more stuff, but I would have looked for some names. But I'm sure, as the constable could tell you, that just because you find names doesn't mean that you can, nail a person. So,
Watkins has a bunch too.
well, I don't know. We haven't
can't
gone
look at that
over
one, yeah.
Watkins since fall,
We
but
throw a trail cam up. Is it a pretty isolated like spot?
I have some plans
Okay.
for it.
I don't want to ruin your mission then.
I don't want to announce my
I don't hear a
tactic.
video.
But yeah. So I figured I'd throw that out there, and I was speaking with the superintendent for Wing, and he does believe that the South Poultney Bridge will be open by the end of the day this Wednesday. So that's exciting for us, and probably exciting for some other people that have big equipment that want to run over that bridge. Really, the only difference for people that it's going to make is, the weight limit's now going to be unrestricted. So fire will have no problem being able to go over the bridge and respond to something in South Poultney quickly, and we can take our trucks over that. Our winter operations have been rather slow because we've been using one truck, the only truck we can get over the bridge. We go over, we do salt on the south end of Poultney, and then we come back, and if we haven't used all the salt, we have to dump the rest of the salt out, which is not just dumping the body. You have to literally run it out of the conveyor, which takes time, and then you have to refill it with stone to go take care of Jones Road and that short jaunt of High Road. And fortunately, the town of Granville is gracious enough to take care of New Boston Road as they're using that for their route turnaround. So it'll save a lot of time for winter operations for us as well. So other than that, that's all I've got, unless anybody has any questions or anything.
Thank you guys. I know you were on the road a lot.
Yeah. Thanks, Joel.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anybody have any other questions for Joel? Good job. Redevelopment.
Yeah. Yes. So thanks. The first thing on the agenda is the municipal planning grant for capital investment planning with the Planning Commission. And Jamie Lee has joined us tonight as chair of the Planning Commission to help explain what's happening and share some good news.
Yeah. Hi, Jamie Lee.
Hi, hey, select board, what's going on? So the good news, and then I'm going to steal the time that I have to wrap you through, not bad news, not good news, just news. Working with Sarah and Paul, and I know we dragged you guys into the office at some point to sign a piece of paper to go for a municipal planning grant to the tune of around $30,000 to create, for the first time, in my knowledge, in this town, a official capital plan and budget. What does that mean? I'm not really quite sure because I haven't done it yet, but my understanding is that it helps. It's dealing with the numbers that you guys were probably dealing with when it came to thinking about purchasing property down the street. It's an assessment of everything that you own now and a forecast for what those things are going to cost into the future. My hope is that with that kind of data, you guys can make better informed decisions or make better arguments in front of the public when it comes time to, if you needed to raise, God forbid, taxes, then you can do that from this state of knowing all the inflows and outflows. I think for the next 10, 20, maybe 50 years, we have not sat down with a consultant yet, but either way, it's forecasting, Mark. Laugh at data.
50 years.
So what we need from you tonight would be signatures on a state document. Somebody has that.
Yes, so we have a contract from the state. I think we just need authorization to sign the contract.
Now, one thing that you and I didn't chat about, I think, is there a local match required?
So the project is $30,000 total. It's $27,000 from the municipal planning grant and $3,000 is the local match. That's it.
That's it, right? See, that's all.
That's it.
At the planning commission level, we understand that there's a particular vendor you guys have already been working with as it pertains to the town and village merger studies. They already have a good amount of that data. So we'd love to move forward with them, but I understand we might need to do a bidding process because they have not been selected as a sole source amongst you guys. I don't know if you are interested in doing that.
Yeah. So, Jamie and I talked about it a little bit earlier today. And so when the merger RFP was put out to bid, there was only one response from a consultant, and that was CGR, who's located in Rochester, New York. So that was the only response. And originally the merger study, the grants that we had obtained were not enough. Some of you are on the merger committee, so you remember this. And the consultant helped us to modify the scope of work to something more manageable for the merger study. So, they're highly qualified. They've been working in town for 2+ years already, and they would be able to jump right in with that merger study to form the baseline for a capital investment plan.
And full disclosure, we did lean on them a little bit to help us draft some of the language for the successful application because they are familiar with this project type, more so than I was. So it's helpful.
Yeah, we haven't scared them away yet.
Yeah. So signatures, that would be the action item tonight. And signatures, that's just on a state document that says, we'll take the money. Then thereafter, I think working with Sarah and Paul to potentially put this out to bid. Okay. You have the paper then to sign?
I don't think we need, I think we just need a verbal authorization to sign.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Any questions for Sarah?
So the 30,000, is it a growing, is it something growing or is that's what we need to set up this?
That's the bill. That's to pay the consultant.
That's to pay the consultant at one time to create this algorithm for us to
It'll be pretty static, but it should be really hefty.
Okay, so it's a one-time, like they're gonna forecast us.
So
like,
okay.
So we're paying a data consultant a one-time fee, well, mostly through grants and a little bit from the town,
right,
to have like the best forecast they possibly can for values and things.
Right. It's a little more complicated because Poultney never had a capital investment plan, so there are like small. There are like PDRC has some capital planning. We have some capital planning, I think, here in departments maybe. So it would take, because it's the first time that you're developing a capital investment plan, it's a bigger lift. So municipal planning grant, you have 2 years to complete that work. And you'd have your first capital plan, which then you would update annually.
We're paying
as
for,
needed.
we're just, well, we're not paying much for grants and whatnot, but it's a tool
Mhm.
for the town to use.
It is a requirement in order to have a designated downtown, and in the past, this is just, Jonas has just put together something, and the state said, okay, that's fine. So this would be the more legit, like, we're legitimizing, guys.
Okay.
That's the idea too.
Oh, legit.
Yeah, I think we're old enough, I think we can do it.
Right, we're maturing. I get it. I didn't know what it was at first.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're at the planning commission level, pretty excited to dig in. It is new to us.
Okay. And like, so this would have been useful for the
Yep.
bond vote meeting and things like that. Like, it just gives us a much more clear data than like, well, this building will be worth, oh, not as much as that building.
It should give roots to some of the numbers that have been spitballed.
A
Yeah,
little less like idea, more data.
that's the dream, man.
Okay, I got you now.
And it'll inform your annual budget process. So you don't have to go through you'll have more information about how to make decisions for budgeting rather than, taking it annually like this sort of reactive. This is planning ahead for where you intend the funds to go.
Okay.
So
So someone wants to make a motion?
Anybody have any questions for either Jamie or Sarah?
So for us, it's just a
We'll take a
one-time
motion.
$3,000 and then,
We're on our own after that.
yeah, cut loose.
Or Jamie will stay with us.
For the cold.
it's
Capital.
it's a
And
capital
yours-
investment plan. CIP is the acronym. And I think, let's see, Poultney's capital investment plan project.
Motion to go forward with Poultney Capital Investment Plan
$3,000. That hospital.
for the cost.
Val seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
It is gonna go to bid.
Would we, would we prefer to just work with this Rochester firm? Like it
I think
doesn't matter.
I think we gotta
Bid.
read the fine print to see if it does have to go to bid or.
So according to the way I interpret the town's procurement policy, we don't have to. However, there is superseding policy at associated with the municipal planning grant. So we need to check that to see if we do.
Okay.
So that'll be on us.
So Jamie, how often maintain our tax status downtown? Do we need to update? this?
They don't say. They just say that you have to have one.
You have to have.
Yeah, pretty loosey goosey over
Right.
there.
Sounds like every 3 years or something, you'd think so.
What was with the renewal, right? Which we just completed.
Just like every 7 years.
I think it's right. Yeah. We just completed the designated downtown renewal, 2 years ago? So we've got at least 5 years ago.
And when you renewed it, it took a lot of like legwork and stuff that this tool will make them optimize.
I don't think this tool is going to help that necessarily, but we'll need to bullshit a lot less.
Okay.
So that's great. No, that's going to be a ton of like.
Making total sense to me.
Great. Okay, we got the thingy and the recording in the minutes. It's wonderful. While I have your ear, and Mark, you're going to help me out here, just an update from the planning commission. What we have been working on is a short-term rental ordinance for your consideration. I think I warned you about that way back when I handed off the food trucks. By the way, short-term rental stuff is coming. The genesis for that, above and beyond housing crisis concerns that are always bubbling up at the planning level, someone I know, Sarah, had received at least one call, maybe more, from a faceless source in Colorado who simply wanted to know, does Poultney have short-term rental regulations? Yes or no? The answer is no. And therefore, the municipality of Poultney gets put on a list somewhere on the internet of all the towns that are not currently regulating short-term rentals in any way. I don't feel very comfortable being on such a nationwide list. So we got to work looking at various other municipalities' ordinances to see how it's done. We looked across the border in New York to see how it's done. It can be done. We have drafted, I think it's around 4 or 5 pages now that we're pretty happy with. Not to beat people over the back of the head for having short-term rentals, but to start to get a grasp on how many there are in this town. So at a future date, if you wanted to cap it, you could, but you don't have to. We're not writing that in. But we are envisioning this as a registry that has a fee associated with it to cover any staff time needed to, file these forms and what have you. We have reached out already to the fire department, and I got some input from Aaron Kerber on what he'd like to see. And it was a lot of these types of fire extinguishers and a knockbox in case they're out of town so that the fire department can have access to these. Like all these scary ideas come up. So the primary focus is safety, a registry so we can get an understanding on what the trend is here in Poultney. And then some character of the neighborhood protections, but it's very limited. We understand that there might not be a lot of capacity at the town level to actually administer this. So that is where we don't have an answer. Because we can draft the most beautiful thing and try to make it as low, low maintenance as possible so that it can be handled very simply. But we can only do so much, and it's really going to be up to you guys to A, adopt it. Maybe you don't want it. Maybe you don't mind being on that list, and that's fine. That's your prerogative. But B, to figure out the logistics of how or who in the town office would be responsible for this moving forward, should you guys want to pass it. Talk to Jeff. He doesn't really want it, the zoning administrator. So the next step I wanted to scare you with that we're writing something that's beautiful and smart and intelligent and probably won't scare people off. And then Airbnb owners will be like, okay, that looks fine and completely reasonable. But we don't know how exactly we're going to incorporate it into the town's day-to-day functions.
Right.
And so I want you guys to dream that up. The planning commission meets again later this month. We're pretty much dotting I's and crossing T's for what we think is a good document. At which point we can bring it to you and have another conversation, possibly open it up as a public workshop, but I'd want to work with you guys very closely on that. Okay? Scary words. Lots
What
of
are,
words. Yeah, go ahead.
like Bombazine, Castleton, is there like surrounding direct towns that do have any sort of enforcement?
Not that close. Killington
I know
is a
Killington
big one, of
is.
course. We looked at Saranac Lake too, only because they took the route of incorporating it into their zoning, which I thought was interesting. But then they told me, I called them up, they had their development review board or their equivalent have 70 meetings just to get the existing short-term rental people approved for this use permit. And I don't think we have the capacity to hold 70 meetings.
Yeah,
We have 35, 40.
it's a big to do.
So instead of doing that, it would be like an annual, you get your license, it lasts for a year. If people call and complain, and guess what? If people are going to call and complain, they're already calling and complaining. But idea would be the front office jots that down. Maybe that person won't be getting a permit the next year if there's too many complaints. Or right now, if someone has zoning violations on their property, but they're still running this thing, we have written into this draft that if there are any violations of any town ordinances, then you can't get a license. You got to cure that first before you can be all ready. So, Mark, did I miss anything?
That pretty much encapsulates.
Okay.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
Kind of my world. I do home inspections, so I'm into like the egress, rental code, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Where
So,
egress doesn't appear. All
yeah, so I'm excited to see what you got drafted up.
right, end of the month, we'll forward it to you. We'll let you sleep on it a little bit, then we'll come back and chat more. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Third Wednesday of every month.
Okay, so there's one other item under community development, which is the MERT project updates. So just an update to the board that the site visit that we talked about previously did take place on the 7th with Buildings and General Services, which is the state agency that has the program and has awarded the funding to the town, and Rutland Regional Planning Commission, which also has funding for technical assistance. So I am continuing to act as the municipal project manager for the town, and coordinating all of the sort of pre-bid information. So we are still working to finalize the scope of work for phase 1. We are adding details, and the site visit was really very helpful. We had questions about some of the eligibility of projects that have been proposed and whether it would be able to be reimbursed through the MERP grants, and we have a much clearer direction now. So I will be, I have weekly meetings set up with Maggie and Sean at Rutland Regional Planning Commission. So they're going to start to provide us with more administrative and project support. We are also working with a historic preservation architect who has given us some pro bono support for specifically for the town office project because it is within Poultney's National Register Historic District. Town office is the only building of all the MERP projects where the window replacement is part of the scope of work. So we have also proposed door replacement and ADA compliance for the main entrance of the town office. So all of those things are eligible uses, and we are now moving towards getting the drawings needed to appropriately bid the work and to get that written in. So we have some help from a historic preservation architect for that. And then the senior center, the Young at Heart Senior Center scope was clarified with Mark's assistance. So we went down and looked at areas where there was insulation, the existing heat pumps that were there. The assessment called for new heat pumps at the senior center, and they said, you have heat pumps. You don't need to replace them. So that was very useful. And we will kind of continue down the road, making sure that RFP is comprehensive. So we have good bids when we finally go out to bid.
Can that money go towards somewhere else? If they're not getting heat pumps, can the money come here?
Yeah.
It will eventually.
Money can flow.
Eventually it will. So that was really helpful to know that what's already existing at the senior center is in compliance with the program. So, for the heat pump and the boiler.
Yeah, because there's a surplus, right? Like not a surplus, but that just means we can put it somewhere else.
Right. So we have the grant that is not tied to any one specific buildings, just the ones that were assessed. So yeah, it will go also. It is good news. And then just quickly, I don't have this on the agenda, but I wanted to let the board know that the Rutland Regional Planning Commission made maps for us related to the ATV and UTV ordinance. Nick did a lot of work to get those looking nice and comprehensive, and so they are now on the town's website. And there is a printed version that's on its way, so that we can leave in the foyer here, so that people that come in and want to see the roads mapped can see that. So, but they are already on the website.
That's cool.
We could put one on the kiosk in town. Yeah. That's it. Thank you, Sarah. Great.
Cool stuff.
Good stuff. Thanks for all you do. Good information. Anybody else have any questions for Sarah? All right. Hey, Paul.
I thought that statewide informational meeting was gonna take longer than it did.
Pretty sure.
That's good information though.
So I just have a note on here that I'm down to, I need to finish the town report. So I'm gonna be probably spending a lot more time here in the evenings and the weekends. Do you have that zoning fee schedule that the board passed?
Yeah. Well, I passed them out. I may have one more left flipped here.
Yeah, but make sure it's a corrected one because the one I had still had passes. Yeah.
Sure, one of public comments, I was gonna bring up a couple of things about that fee schedule.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
Paul, do you get a hold of the people that have to do the write-up for the town report? Or do they get just automatically give it to you? Do you have to go after them
A
probably?
lot of them I have to shake down.
Check that.
Yeah.
Someone had asked me about it. I said to get a hold of you, but I know the chamber did theirs, but I know that there are other people. I said, they have to get it to you. Okay, good.
Carol, you want another copy of this?
Did you get a copy of it, Carol?
I have the original one you were working on. I don't know what your updated one was, because in the town clerk's office, we were going over it today and had some questions.
You have the correct one?
Yeah. The correct.
So the reason why I bring it up is because the zone administrator noted one thing on there that carried over from Castleton, which the town of Poultney does not do, and that's the on-site septic permit. As many of you probably know, the state of Vermont took over jurisdiction, for septic permits back in 2007, I think it was. December 31st.
2007.
I think it was 2007, wasn't it?
Yes.
In any event, apparently Castleton still requires their own local septic permit, and they have a very active health officer that. So Jeff asked that if anything, the board strike that, modify their.
It makes sense.
Modify the plan to reflect that that's not something that the town of Poultney requires.
That is true. That is very true.
If I may comment, that was my number one question from the clerk's office, because you can't even get a zoning permit for new construction without having a wastewater, potable water. Yeah. From the state first, from a certified designer.
So by the way, Paul, Jim Langley died. Yes. He passed on. All right, so I guess, is it okay just to scratch it off?
Motion to.
Carol's part, Kathleen?
Make a motion to remove the
The on-site,
on-site town regulated septic comment from the,
yes.
Replace it with somebody else.
Hey,
Yeah.
what's the document called? I'm just
is the town of Poultney?
Zoning fee schedule.
from the zoning fee schedule.
I'll second.
Yeah, all in favor.
It's like,
Did you have other questions?
I do, which might affect what you're going to be doing.
That's why I was just
Thank you,
thinking.
I appreciate that. And a driveway cut. Now that is something new. We've never had that before. Now, if
We haven't had it.
construction is taking place though, and the property's on a state road, it's the state that says where you can have your driveway,
Right.
not the town. I can understand the driveway cut when it comes to a town road, because our town foreman should be the one saying, yes, that's a good location. Do you need a culvert or so forth? Is that correct, Joel?
It is.
Okay. So is that something that would stay in there? We've just never
driveway
had anything like that before.
I'm looking for it. Well,
It's on top second page.
driveway cut, $50. Yeah.
His name, just put a new driveway in.
I mean, I think it's
See.
with, I think with the understanding that it's, if we're talking about a town road,
Yeah.
where we have jurisdiction, but like, as you stated, the state has jurisdiction on
Right.
the,
He said he entered it in the driveway. so-
we just need to add the word on town roads.
yeah, probably.
So we probably just need to make a few edits rather than make multiple motions and edit on the fly.
Let's edit it.
Yeah.
That's only the one, Carol?
Yeah.
We were just wondering if you wanted to be consistent, because on page 1, it says the application fee is $35 plus 10 cents per square foot of
Right.
development.
Right.
But then on the second page where the fees are listed again, it says application
Yeah.
$35. It doesn't mention the 10 cents square foot. And it also says recording fee is $15. Well, if the state says what the recording fees are, it's $15 per page for all documents.
So that should be written as such. I would say 15 bucks per
That's
page.
at the top of recording fee. It doesn't
Yeah.
say it's $15 per page, and it
should-
does not say that down under the fee part either.
Do you have these things written down? Like
Yes.
these edits? Just
Yes, I do.
If we could. Email it to them. They all sound good,
Let's
doesn't
give
it?
it to Paul. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah. We just need to edit it and then next meeting we'll pass the proper.
And that would be
Yeah.
good, because that's what we were looking for, is actual signed, so
Yeah.
we could have it in the office.
Yeah.
Because ironically, we had a person call today, and she said she needed information about a permit, but she understood there was new fees and so forth. And we said, we had some
Yeah.
questions.
We're in the infancy period of the. Gotcha, we'll get it cleaned up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did it say?
No, well, I think we should be, I mean,
Different motion?
Should we just
Yeah.
make a motion to revise the fee schedule document and
readopt it.
readopt it next meeting?
Yeah, go ahead.
I make a motion to make the necessary revisions to the fee schedule document and, look to readopt it at the next meeting.
Second, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. It'll be on the agenda for our next meeting. 86.
Okay, the next thing I have here is the Chevy highway truck. We did receive, number of bids, 8 bids actually. So we'll see if we can find out. I'll open these in no particular order.
Excited.
This bid is for $850.
This is for that 1980 truck or
Yeah.
1984.
With the pressure axles.
Old Army Angela.
What was the bid? What'd you say? $8,000?
800.
$850.
I will take.
Was it Brad like that?
Thrown away there.
I heard that wrong.
This one is $600. Going down.
It's in second place.
That is good. Sure, help you open it.
So did you put a pin? No.
This one is $600.
So.
And here comes part of it, surfing. Good bug.
Before,
This is something good.
$1,200.
Ooh. Sorry, Elizabeth. Elizabeth.
Still not gonna get us a replacement truck. Everybody's getting excited, but I'm not.
1984.
$500.
Flip that one.
Most official looking paper yet. But
Yeah, that was
hard stock.
You see, it had to be on something official.
You're taking any one.
Yeah.
1200?
Yeah.
1200?
1,260.
Oh,
Okay.
260. We better hold them all though. just
Geez,
in case
that's
it doesn't fall apart.
Colchester.
Money up there.
You know something, yeah.
1,260.
Here we go.
And
$2,000. What am I gonna get us from?
It was something.
1,110.
Pretty consistent. Last one. Big money.
Drum roll.
Yeah, big money. No whammy.
It was a drum roll, but
Final is the winning bid of 2,026.12.
Wow.
If you so wish to accept it.
Yeah.
This one's from Bonneville.
Wow.
Sure.
You know something we don't know?
$2,026.12.
So the top two, so we can take.
Weird. Where the money goes behind that guy?
What is it?
2026. Can we take the top 3 bids?
Oh, that's what he is.
Yeah, does this
Oh.
say December 2026?
It says 2026.
That's a little weird. 2026, 12.
So discussions?
Do we take the top 3 bids and then if we find out it's false or they don't want to do it, we,
Well, you started 2026.
I mean, you did reserve the right to reject any and all bids, so I'll remind you of that.
right?
Does the thing run to?
I'm sorry?
Does the truck run?
Yeah, we drove it back from Earl's.
So what are we thinking? Do we want to, obviously we have to take more than one bill because you get someone and they say, no, I don't want it. Like, okay,
Right.
let's go to the second
Yeah.
one. So
I think, like you said, just take the top 3 and
Not for it.
all them all up, and it's our mission is to sell it, right?
save them all just in case the top 3 decide not to do it.
Yeah, save them all. That's a good point.
We might end up now with the.
Is there, cause there's no real blue book we're working off,
No.
something that old, it's, yeah, it's just,
It's got so much customization done to it, you can't find enough options. in
Yeah.
Blue Book or
You're not gonna be able to get
anything.
anything
Figure it
right
out.
here. Yeah,
And you have it in a position where you have your radio out of it and everything else.
It is ready to go. I'm storing the parts, the non-refundable parts that Earl's purchased to do the work, inside the building, and they'll be put inside the truck and.
yeah.
So do we need motion for doing top 3 bills on bids?
I would make a motion that nature. Top 3 bids.
Second, but save them all in case the top 3 bids say, I was only joking.
Yeah.
It could happen, like,
That wasn't me.
it's right. All right.
Found out.
Val seconded
No,
it.
no, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, Paul, thank you. Save them all, top 3 bids. What was the top one we said, 2001?
$26.12.
Yeah, 12 cents. Now,
Sounds like a joke.
Right, I would look at those too.
That's all I have.
Ouch.
Thank you for doing.
I was expecting one for at least $5,000, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
It's disappointing.
Wow.
Does anyone have a tissue?
You wanna run it another auction cycle?
Yes, shade.
Did we do any like, social media marketing for it? You want to give it one more go?
So as of last Wednesday or Thursday, we had no bids on it at that point, and I started to panic. So I ran what Paul had drafted up as far as the bid information, and I copied it to personal Facebook.
Okay.
And put it out there so we could spread the word.
Okay.
Oh, so if they come in and they're above, you'll be like, you to blame you?
Yeah. Why not?
Good job.
Why
Very
not?
good job.
Yeah, sure.
Good way to do it. Okay, do we have any other select board business? Well, no.
No. Rutland Regional Planning, you had a few things on there, do you know?
Yeah, this is a little weedy, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna try to give you a high level here. So the first thing on there is the Community and Housing Infrastructure Program, CHIP as it's being called, is about to launch for the pilot rounds of this new program, which is in the past been called project-based TIF. It's a smaller version of a tax increment financing intended for smaller municipalities, or actually it's anyone can use it in the state of Vermont, but it's targeted towards municipalities that have been unable to access a traditional TIF district because of the way it's set up in the legislation currently. So CHIP is financing tool that allows municipalities and developers to borrow money for infrastructure like roads, sidewalks, sewer, stormwater, and digital build out for housing development. So then the property tax revenue boost from the development pays back the debt. And sorry, I should pre-up this by saying that Paul and I attended the town manager and administrator's presentation last Thursday. So that's where this information is coming from. So the program is huge. It's $2 billion over 10 years.
$1 billion.
$2 billion. Yep. Yes. And round one will launch in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So there's a lot of training sessions. There's a lot of information out there for anyone who's interested in this. I've been keeping track of it. We do have one potential application to CHIP that isn't thoroughly developed, but we have a property owner who's gone before the planning commission to and met with the town on several occasions about the infrastructure that's in the area where his property is. And so we have a few potential applications to CHIP. Maybe not for this first round, but for subsequent rounds. So training sessions, the Vermont League of Cities and Towns is going to be overseeing training for municipalities, for people that are in economic development, community development, to try to roll out this tool. And I think the one thing that I wanted to share that I did find, I found out through this process with the select board, is that the 2023 Rutland Region Housing Needs Assessment, which is created by Vermont Housing Finance Agency and has been sort of the go-to manual for housing development for the past few years, has identified the creation of, as a midpoint value, 222 units by 2040 in Poultney to meet statewide housing goals. So take that for what it's worth, but that's in documents created by PHFA. So I'll try to keep you updated on what's happening. There is a letter of interest that sounds a municipality can submit a letter of interest to just sort of let the program administrators know that there is interest in your community. It doesn't need to be a fully developed project at this point, just to submit that letter of interest. So we may end up doing that, but I'll be coming back to you probably with more information about it.
That's a lot of money, so that's good.
Yeah.
That's really, so they will, the system will do upfront costs for like, you said even like the digital, like, mock-ups and such, like a affordable housing neighborhood or something like that. Is that part of it?
So it's intended to be the actual construction. I don't know how much of the planning or development can be funded through CHIP, but CHIP.
Yeah.
But it is, the cost of the infrastructure development.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like cutting the road in.
Right. So
Sewer.
right.
Okay.
So that
And then they pay themselves back with the town's revenue from the property taxes.
With the increase.
With the property tax increase, CHIP gets it.
right.
But some of it is like, because if it's a $2 billion pool, is any of it like a grant or anything like that, or is it all eventually paid back to CHIP? Like it's like
So it's not a grant. It's a financing program, and I don't have the details of really how it's rolling out just yet.
yeah.
But
So they're not doing handouts; they're just like they made a system to help you get started and recoup their money elsewhere.
Yeah.
At some point.
Through the tax increment that
Yeah.
received from the development.
Okay, that's what
Fairhaven has a pretty, they're turning into the poster child for this. They were lobbying for some of this in last year's legislative session. And so there is a project that we can keep track of in Fairhaven too, to see how this is rolling out. They do, I don't know the details of how big it is, but do you remember what it was? Was it over by the
They were,
Skyline, right?
no,
The old racetrack.
Okay.
okay. Yep.
they were given property by one of the former owners of Hubbard and Forge,
Uh-huh.
specifically to develop housing.
Yeah. Need more people.
So that's CHIP, and then the regional plan update. So the select board was copied on correspondence from the Regional Planning Commission from December 30th of 2025 about the future land use area map. This is sort of this is primarily within the wheelhouse of the Planning Commission, but I just wanted folks to know that a revised version of the future land use map is available. The land use review board is the board that signs off on the regional plan. And so they are now reviewing elements of it. In Poultney, the future land use categories, the downtown center and village center didn't change from the pre-application map, which is good. It's very good for us. But there was a planned growth area that was increased village area that was eliminated because of feedback from the land use review board. And the way that it was mapped. So, we're keeping an eye on this. The planning commission and my office and Paul as well. So folks are keeping up to date with this. It's essentially about, tier 1 Act 250 jurisdiction. So development of that would have had to go through Act 250. So this is very weedy, but I'm happy to go through this with anyone who's.
Helen, we need to sit down and have you look at it to make sure we're capturing everywhere there's water or sewer lines.
Chip.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that the municipality and the regional planning commission is using the mapped existing wastewater infrastructure to form those areas that are in the future land use map. So it's guiding growth for the
It's good to know anyway.
next 8 years that the regional plan is in effect. So that's it.
What's the, just for my curiosity, 222 units for Poultney, but like, is there a statewide goal by 2040?
There is a statewide goal. I don't know what it is.
Unachievable.
I'm sure it's huge. Poultney's 220.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure they want 25,000 new houses in
Oh, yeah.
Burlington or something.
Well, and the 222 units is only the midpoint. I think the high was something like 500.
That's what we actually need.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully they all have kids and build schools.
It'll be busy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll do a lot of home inspection.
Yeah.
I like it.
Always think-
All brand new.
There you go. Well, hey, new houses have
That's
issues.
That's right. Still takes
Certainly be a lot of work to build that. So
great. Thank you, Sarah and Paul. Good.
So you asked me to have, Constable Kerber
Oh, we'll touch that. Dale is here.
He's here.
I'm here in body.
Oh my God, you do exist.
I've been up since 12:30.
Oh. We've been here since 4:45, if that helps.
I didn't know that you guys were having a budget meeting. I texted my son that he was gonna be here tonight. He said he was already here.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Paul just asked me to be here tonight.
All right. Do we want to do public comments about everything else and then talk to Dale, or do we just do it at the end, or?
To you guys, I think we could talk to. Yeah, let's do it.
What do you wanna know?
No.
Do I wanna keep doing this?
Basically.
pretty much.
Plus.
I told you over a year ago. I was hoping the town would find somebody. So, and the town has been talking about, do we want to hire somebody? You know, I don't know where the town is at right now with that. That's, you know, I can offer suggestions, but outside of that, because I'm, with me working here, even on the grant, and I'm not saying that I'm not getting paid enough. It's just that I'm getting into my time where I'm working on my retirement. So the more time I spend in Fairhaven, it's going to build my retirement. So is it wise for me, for myself, for my family to keep working here like I have been? That's the whole thing. Because the hours I put in here doesn't go towards my retirement. And that's what I told everybody here, it was over a year ago. There is a gentleman that we just got trained up that lives here at Poultney. And I don't know if he's interested. If the town is looking for, to appoint a different constable, or are they looking to appoint a special officer? The pitfalls with appointing somebody other than a constable than me is, the stuff that I have gotten for the town. The biggest thing is the ORI, the FBI's ORI, that would not carry over because of his level of training. Is only level 2, because when I applied for that, when I first started here back in 98, well, it was 99 when it was issued, the restrictions weren't so severe, and now they're severe. Like Holland has 3 constables now, and they cannot get an ORI, and one of them is my police chief, who's full-time certified, and they're saying they don't have enough money towards law enforcement to justify getting one. So
Can you tell the board what ORI is?
it's an agency identifier that the FBI issues to law enforcement. Everybody has a unique identifying number.
If you can't get one, you can't run criminal histories. So if you, like, if, Poultney here got somebody else that was only level 2 certified, if he made an arrest, he has to have another kind of agency agreement with somebody else to be able to run a criminal history. That he can't get them. They have to go, that agency would run that criminal history and it would go directly to the state's attorney's office. So, I mean, there's other layers of stuff there. That's the whole problem. And I'm willing to stay on it and work it in that capacity, to help in that area. But as far as, day to day down here, I'm not contributing to my retirement when I work here. So that's why you see less and less of me here.
Why is that?
Because I'm only part-time here and I don't. I'm not in the state employee retirement system through here because it's part-time. You can't be a part of it.
Gotcha.
If you could make me a part of it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Think about.
What do you think would be best? Like, even if we just do status quo, and it sounds like you're thinking a couple of years, if anything, or 5, or what do you think would be best for us to do? Say, once you retire, whatever that is, like, is this a good system to continue doing there?
Well, you have to do something because by statute, you have to appoint a constable or you have to have like one. What? Yeah. That's still part of the state statutes. However, they have taken away a lot of the law enforcement capacity of a constable if they're not certified with the Criminal Justice Training Council. It used to be, if you ran as a constable and got elected, you had full law enforcement authority with 0 training. Yeah.
What if we had a Poultney Sheriff's Office with 1 employee?
Well, then the sheriff would run them. He'd be answering. Yeah, well, that's basically what we have now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still at 30 as a town. The sheriff come with a
It's still
contract.
32 hours.
Has he presented a new contract?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. If it's still at 32, I know the town at one time looked at making it a 40-hour position and decided against that. They talked about hiring a special officer or appointing another constable, but apparently in our charter, you can't appoint another constable because that was the whole big to-do back when I went to the academy. We had a bunch of grant money that I wasn't going to be able to spend, and Jonas ended up appointing Bill Humphreys as the second constable. So he ran as the second constable because we didn't want to give any of the grant money back. So there's a whole history there that I don't know if we have time to go over. Maybe we'll want to meet another night and talk about it. As far as my budget goes, it doesn't have to go up. I don't spend all of the salary budget because most of the time that I spend here is all done through the highway safety grants. So it doesn't cost the town anything, so to speak, but some book work. Because they fully reimburse that, they reimburse the mileage.
And that vehicle's not that new.
No, that's just it. It's 10 years old now, and it's starting to show we had an extended warranty on that vehicle. That ran out back in April. I think that ran out in April, and I tried to get Ford to extend it. And it took them a couple of months to give me an answer. And then finally the answer was, no, it's too old. I'm like, it's got 80,000 miles on it. I'm like, you've done all the major service on it here. The only thing you guys haven't done is tire changes and oil changes. That's it. But they wouldn't go for that again. And as a result, everything's breaking down on it right now. And I still can't get it inspected because every time I take it up to Riverside, something new pops up. So he says, go out and drive it. So I go out and drive it and I don't get very far. The check engine light comes back on. So it's a common problem with Fords.
Yeah.
Well, first I think about.
But like I said, there's a gentleman here, he would entertain, maybe taking on a special officer. If you don't want me to be the constable anymore, you guys appoint me. You tell me what you want to do.
Yeah, I think mostly it's just people
I think people want us to get more police presence and we're trying to figure out how.
Well, they want more presence, but they don't want to pay for it. I'm a taxpayer here too, so I know it's a catch-22.
Mm,
Yeah, do we need more? I will say in the whole scope of the whole area, our call volume is down.
Yeah.
All over here. It's that much sheriff's department. It is. Whether people have just gotten used to, okay, this just happened, so we're not gonna bother to call. That's my fear.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But we did talk about having our own police place here. We talked about the phenomenal amount of money it would cost.
Yeah,
mean,
I looked
a couple
at-
years ago.
I looked at Castle,
Yeah, well, I
like 500,000
myself and
a year.
Bishop both worked up, came up with figures to run a two-man department here, and you know, he did it independently. Our figures were pretty close to the same.
Yeah, I think Castleton's at 500,000 for
It'll be at least that.
Yeah.
The place, the car, the-
They fund 5 and they're gonna be high, they're trying to find a 6th.
Yeah.
So their budget's gonna be, with everything, their budget's gonna be 700,000-800,000,
Yeah.
easy.
No, because I was like, why don't we just have a 1 or 2 man? But it's not as
And
easy as
we've had talks before,
Place having to-
trying to, you know, get Castleton, Fairhaven and Poultney to, you know, have a regional police department. And, there was a lot of pushback from, it started by Castleton and then they had pushback from Castleton, so that died. Because Fairhaven was looking at it and I know Jonas was part of, you know, we were talking here, you know, very much in favor of it. But that just kind of went by the wayside.
It's like a slate valley.
Yeah. And then it was like Lake region. And the legislature was supposed to be looking at funding models like that too, where, you know, to help out with the funding to get something rolling like that. That funding never came to be. And the whole dispatch piece, that is still up in the air. Right now, things are quiet. And that'll rear its ugly head because as long as I've been the constable here for my 28th year now, the first year I came on board, that was the whole issue then, was the towns need to start paying for dispatch services. And at that time, I told them, that's fine. Give me a number that we can budget so that this isn't an issue. We'll budget it. And we've been telling them ever since, give us a number.
Mhm.
And the state tried to push it on the towns. And the towns ended up, we were able to push back well enough. And the legislature said, wait a minute, we are paying you to dispatch for these agencies. So don't come telling us that you're not getting paid to do this, because they were. That was the state.
But yeah, for the next year, are you still willing to do it?
I'm still gonna stay as a constable, yeah, but you're gonna see, like, if Paul calls me, need something, I do that. I still do that.
It's just, yeah, I think like maybe if we have something to tell people, like, so their expectations are set correctly. Because I think a lot of people are just like, you know,
Well, I tell them,
some Dale up 22A today, he's supposed to be involved. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard like,
well, that's the whole thing, because we've discussed that here several times.
yep.
The whole, with the way the grant worked. It used to be Poultney had their own grant. I would write a grant every year. And we would get X amount of dollars. The state changed all that. They made one pot of money for the counties. They went back to, there was an old program called the Sharp program that was done countywide. So everybody had one pool of money and everybody worked these details all over the county. So that's the way this works now, is you've got to, if you're not getting, they tell you, we don't have quotas. All right, but we want to see 2 stops an hour. So, but we don't have quotas. So if all of a sudden you work 4 hours and you make 1 car stop, they're gonna go,
I'm doing it.
yeah, I don't think we're gonna let you,
Yeah.
work this detail. So I get down here as often as I can, and if I'm not getting the stops, I have to go where they are. I won't go to Castleton because they have no police department.
Yeah.
I go to 22A or there because that's a racetrack.
Yeah.
Yep.
And as a result of everybody writing these tickets, they keep, the pot of money now is pushing $300,000 for the county here.
Yeah.
And it never gets used.
All right, but we show up at the basketball game and football game.
They've never asked me since COVID.
You used to be there all the time.
I know, because Joe, they would pay me to be there. They wanted me to be there. I would still do it. But when the SU changed, they had no control over that anymore. And that was after COVID, and I've never been asked. No, they don't ask anybody. Graduation or anything.
You were part of the furniture then.
I was there for many years
Yeah.
because they wanted me there. Now Joe's like, they don't let us know what we can do or not do. Doesn't ask, I don't know.
Ah.
It used to be their school policy was if there was
Yeah.
250 people there, they were supposed to have law enforcement there.
What, you got paid like per diem for stuff like that?
Yeah, they built them, correct.
Yeah.
Good, Jeremy.
All right, Jamie, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Budget. Have a conversation about that or something. Yeah.
Well, we're trying to figure out our budget.
I know.
So,
Well, I don't know. That's just it. I don't even know. I have no idea what's in. But I haven't like in the last several years. We've never used it up with my salary.
can we book you for July 4th right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be here for that. I'll be here for Memorial Day parade. Even if I'm working at Fairhaven, I already tell my boss.
Right.
Commitment down here.
Make sure it's in writing. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Well, thank you. We have lots to think about.
But yeah,
And if you want to do some brainstorming over law enforcement, just. A lot of my Mondays lately have been the grandbabies. That's what.
It's good to know. We might have to see what we're doing budget wise. We might have to. Right.
Yeah.
so Dale, how's the new public service building? The airport. They move it into that? Okay. They bought the old building. Armory? Yeah. The armory. Right.
Oh, the town? Yeah.
Yeah. Did they move into?
Yeah.
So that's working good.
Well, it's working, yeah. It's better than what they had. Let's just put it this way. It's pennies on the dollar for what it was gonna cost to replace.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what workplace.
They've got probably a $15 million
Yeah.
out place there for 1.6.
1.6.
Yeah, they actually didn't even pay 1.6. 1.6 is what they bonded, but there's other improvements they had to do.
How did they get the vote to pass?
I don't think it was voted.
It was voted.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That was a bond vote.
I remember the word Poultney in the article, but I read.
Yeah, that was, yeah, this is a public meeting. I'll refrain
Yeah.
from comment. I don't want to get myself in trouble.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you, Dale. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, just let me know if you guys want me to meet. You guys are doing a budget meeting and I'm available. I'll show up.
We have to know.
Well, we have you down for the 4th already.
4th of July.
The July already.
We need to.
Memorial Day, sure.
Do you have like a
Yes.
retirement date set in your mind?
No,
That you could-
no, I didn't start till I was 51 in the retirement system, so I got over 2.5 years to hit my retirement.
Okay,
But if I feel good, I'm just gonna keep working.
okay.
Pay for that motorcycle.
I'm getting to the point where I'll be driving much longer.
Shh, don't tell your wife that.
No, it'll be a convertible. Cause then she can drive when I get tired.
Sounds good. Great.
Well, trust it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah, I'm just sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Thank you for saying that.
Thanks, Bill. All right, public comments. Anyone have any questions or comments? What? Oh, gosh, I was just gonna say, we made it like one.
Can't go without phone.
All right, you felt bad, didn't you, Patty?
The town be notified that the bridge is open.
We posted, is there another way we should know that the bridge is open?
I get email updates. I don't know if you can sign up on that.
You can.
Yeah.
You can,
Yeah.
through the state.
So if you go to, I signed up somehow and forgot. It's, yeah, the state website has like a bridge.
a whole page on bridges. And you can hit like subscribe to the email list. So I get updates like weekly with wind construction and all that stuff.
It's like Carol has,
You
yeah.
know, for people who,
They're gonna set off fireworks.
there'll be a lot of people that don't have a clue until they get up to the bridge, and the main bridge is full of all those orange things.
Yeah.
And the other one is open.
But hopefully they'll get there and be like, wow, the bridge is open.
I assume there's flaggers.
There'll be flaggers and stuff there directing them, yeah.
With that, word of mouth would be pretty good because it's good news.
It's almost like, yeah, it's a little slow enough to inundate it and everybody knows it, yeah.
That comes fast.
I'm sure there's gonna be a short delay where they have to move the traffic devices around, where everything's gonna be completely shut down.
Which we don't want to give
for a
us,
short period.
yeah, give a date exactly now, and then all of a sudden they have to move some stuff around, and then after, then people are gonna be complaining, that you said today at 5, and now it's, you know, just in case we get a big storm or something happens.
Well,
I know.
when I said that earlier during my report time,
Wednesday.
that was not me saying that. That was me going through the superintendent from Wind. So when it changes, don't blame the town highway.
Right.
Well, and the workers have said the same, 2 people in the area, that they were shooting for Wednesday,
Right.
but
Well, you know, it's close, so if it's not Wednesday, we know it's fairly close, depending on what
I'm
happens.
sure it'll be
Yeah.
all over Facebook when it is. But yeah, as far as paper copies, I don't know if we.
I think we need paper copies,
No.
but it'll be on the website, have that.
Well, she said, what about people who don't have computer access? That is, like, I don't think we have anything planned for.
It's the same setup that it
Yeah.
is right now. It's just your.
They'll get up to it and say sign.
yeah.
People can still use it.
The main ones would be the oversized trucks that haven't been able to go through and.
Yeah,
they
that's a
have
good
more
surprise.
spray on
Yeah.
it.
That's okay to slow that down and have them.
Yeah, let's
figure it out.
not tell them. Yeah.
they go through anyway.
They do. Good, but. All right, anybody else? I want to make a motion for board orders?
I would make a motion to sign the board orders.
Second,
Second that.
Dave seconds it, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. We have an executive session?
No.
No. I have a motion to adjourn. Seconded by Mark, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.